Good evening, Internet, and welcome. It is Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which means One Shot Wednesday here on the GrowedUpGeek gaming channel. This is our show where we get to play with new people every week. Occasionally, we had a guest Dungeon Master last week, which was really incredible because that means I got to play. And then we get to keep stories for visiting Dungeon Masters to just kind of come up with a cool little thing that they don't have to draw out. And we provide this new people playing with other new people, me getting to DM for new people, and like I said, occasionally getting to play. So we love the show. We're very excited. Tonight we are going to do our continued series of Candlekeep mysteries with Christopher Firkin's adventure, The Book of the Raven. Personally, one of my favorite people in the D&D kind of community area. So very excited about this. Before we get to that, Dungeon Master without players is just a guy writing half of a story. So we will meet our fabulous, fabulous players this evening. We will start with, let's start with Andrew, newcomer to the channel. Tell us a little bit about yourself and real brief idea of Scissero.
Hi everybody. I'm Andrew, high school teacher out of Ottawa, Canada. I am playing Cicero Lamond, who is a swashbuckler rogue. Very flashy and nicely dressed and makes you feel bad about yourself.
Nice. All right. Cool. Fabulous. Love people like that hanging out at the library. Hey, that's what you're reading? Jesus, get a grip. Awesome. All right, we will return to the west coast of the overlay with some familiar faces, some more so than others. We'll start at the top with Porter, who brought us a paladin last time for the level 15 one shot. And tell us a little bit about yourself and art, ironically enough.
Yeah, I'm Porter. I work with kids. I'm living in Michigan now, originally from the West Coast, California. So I'm playing a College of Creation bard, who's a very sort of like capricious, go with the flow, expressive, loving hippie dude. So I'm going to be channeling my inner Californian for that tonight.
All right. Don't mess with my creative process, bro.
Yeah.
Harsh my creativity. All right, let's move down to a regular on our Tuesday show. Plays our adorable and very optimistic artificer. Landon, tell us about who you've brought for us tonight.
So I'm playing a half elf named Caius. His friends call him Kai. He's a ranger who actually lives out in the wood of Sharpkeep, which is fairly close to Candlekeep. I looked it up on a map. Uh, he enjoys traveling, he's a ranger, but he especially enjoys traveling with his sort of companion. As a Beastmaster Ranger, and his clan has kind of raised a species of dog that looks like Saint Bernard's. It's basically Saint Bernard, that's been touched by Fey magic. Its name is Peanut. It's,
Oh,
big dog. Anyways, so that explains why it's a little bit stronger than most other mastiffs. But outside of that, he's usually just content being there for adventure. He gets bored if he's not doing something dangerous. So
so,
that's Caius.
all right, why not go work for some book nerds? They always got stuff to do. All right.
Exactly.
And we'll finish up with kind of a Wednesday regular here. Fantastic player, DM in his own right. Tim, tell us about Minch.
Sure. Thanks again for having me to your game.
Always, buddy.
I'm going to be playing a gnome artificer artillerist, Galprex Mincham. You can call him Minch. He's kind of a mischievous gnome. Always has his nose in some project or bauble or trinket, and isn't afraid to speak his mind.
The ever energetic and loving kind of gnome archetype. I see one every week, so well familiar. All right, those are our amazing players. Our fifth will be along shortly. They are currently stuck in traffic as it is. We'll work them in when we can. In the meantime, I'm Manny, your host and dungeon master this evening at GrowedUpGeek on the social medias, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Do this little channel here with these great people. You like what we do, give me a follow on all of those platforms. Just show your support. We like to know that people enjoy what we do here. So tonight we will bring Christopher Perkins, level 3, one-shot, The Book of the Raven from Candlekeep Mysteries. And we will go ahead and begin with some good old fancy box text. We'll give the players a little chance to roleplay, and then we'll jump into it. And let us engage in theatrics and mathematics. You've recently begun a minor role assisting the scholars of Candlekeep in any kind of physical legwork that they need done on their behalf in their studies or research or kind of the problems that, academics attend to. You've had a few days off since your most recent task for them. Everybody's kind of sitting around in the outer part of Candlekeep before you get into the repository of the books and all the expensive stuff that they don't want anybody touching. And so it's a kind of crisp autumn day outside, wind's blowing, sun's out, it's a little chilly, and everybody's just kind of milling about. You're most likely going to be summoned today by a scholar. And in the meantime, let's start with Art. What are you doing around the tavern or just kind of in the courtyard of the Candlekeep Library?
Yeah, I think I'd be like tuning my instrument, just strumming a couple of like very simple melodies, maybe composing short songs or sonnets or whatever about the things that I kind of see around me. I think the rest of the party is used to this. This is just what Art does a lot of the time, just to pass the time.
Give me a good description of Art as well as you sit there kind of strumming musically, attracting all the scholar girls.
Yeah, he's maybe in his like 50s, I want to say, wears very like loose flowy clothes, has like piercings just in odd places, sort of like long hair that he just lets flow down, and yeah, looks like he spends a lot of time outside, just like in the sun.
You got it. I lived in Pacific Beach, California. I know exactly what those dudes are. 50 years old and all. Absolutely. All right. Fabulous. Caius, also kind of same deal. It's a nice day, sitting around. Know you're going to be summoned today. What does Caius look like, and what are you doing while you basically wait for a little nerd to appear and ask you to do something for him?
So, as a half-elf, you all can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I was putting in some information for the peanut. Anyways, and my screen like flickered. But Caius, as a half elf, he sort of looks, kind of plain. I can't imagine half elves being too interesting looking. But he's got a little bit of a beard. His elf blood prevents him from growing too much. But living out in the woods and mostly not caring about his appearance, he's grown a little bit of a beard. As to what he's doing, Peanut isn't exactly used to being in the city and keeps trying to mark everywhere. So Caius is like, Peanut, no, you stop that. And kind of pulling him away from all of anything that looks like something that could belong to Peanut. So that's what Caius is doing.
You're the guy who brings his dog to the outdoor cafe, and then his dog just wrecks shop on everybody sitting at the patio. Got it.
Oh yeah. Like someone's getting their coffee about to
tail knocking stuff over.
And Peanut's Peanut's grabbing their bagel, knocking their coffee over with the towel. Yeah, that's Peanut.
Good times. All right. Minch, what do you look like and what are you doing out in this lovely day while a animal terrorizes the tavern and its people outside? You there?
Is there seating outside the tavern?
Yeah, it's kind of like an open, like one open side, and then like some kind of tables scattered
Okay.
about in the like it's like a big kind of courtyard and inside the outer walls of the kind of Candlekeep complex.
Sure. So Minch is a gnome with a bald top of his head, but kind of a flowing purple mullet and a twirling purple mustache. He's wearing, the typical accoutrement you see of someone working with fine tools, kind of a grease-stained shirt and a heavy tool belt, all sorts of gadgets on it. Minch is sitting on the floor of the tavern with his back against a pillar, kind of not too far from where this pet is wreaking havoc, but completely nonplussed and complete, unconcerned to say the least. He has his nose in a book, which the library has loaned him during his time here. It's a catalog of cannons, volume 3, from large to humongous, and he's furiously taking notes and isometric grid lined notebook where he's doodling and illustrating and scratching different notes from the book that he's studying.
All right. Well, I advise to hide that in case the authorities come by. That's the kind of thing that gets you on a watch list real fast. Awesome.
Good.
What large to humongous was the? Is there a volume 4? Humongous to obscene?
Um, that's a question that Minch is certainly going to ask the librarians once he's done with this particular volume 3.
Maybe in exchange for whatever they have in store. But like, yeah, I need to see volume 4. I don't care if it's not on the shelf. I know it's back there. Let me see it.
Minch reviewed volumes 1 through 2, but quickly learned that he wasn't interested with what was in those smaller volumes.
Underwhelming. What, I can just put a hole in a wall? Yeah, no, pass. Awesome. All right. Let's finish up with Scissero. You've got a potential FBI witness that's going to be wanting to talk to, a dog terrorizing a place, and a laid-back dude just strumming away, enjoying the vibes.
Yeah, so pretty much the exact opposite of Kai. Scissero is the most outstanding looking half-elf that Candlekeep has ever seen. He is like skin a little bit leathered from the sun. Like he has shoulder length hair like tied back in like a loose ponytail, and like basically is as flamboyantly dressed as possible. Like tight leather pants, like a royal purple long coat, and like a hat with a feather out of it. And Scissero is currently has found a couple of scholars on their break, and is teaching them how to gamble, and is definitely not playing fair and just sweeping up the winnings.
Oh, all right, cool, great, perfect. The perfect cast of people that the biggest repository of knowledge and like powerful artifacts in Forgotten Realms goes. You know what? We need some stuff done. Let's get these guys. All right. I mean, hey, a job's a job, and apparently it's treacherous, so they'll take anybody. Times is hard, man. As Art proceeds to, okay. Art's gonna kind of proceed to get his little groove on. You notice in the sky, for those who kind of look up, that there are a bunch of birds up there, and not in the kind of typical migratory pattern, but patterns and flocks of birds, like in the same way you'd see in the summertime. They're high in the sky. You can't really make out what type, unless Caius is a bird expert, maybe. I don't know what rangers can do.
I can speak to it.
Okay. I think that'd be easier than having me have to improv, like, types of birds. Because in that case, they'd be seagulls. So these birds just kind of, like, floating around. At the same time, the typical migratory autumn birds flying by in their traditional patterns. It's kind of quiet around Candlekeep. Just the day before, you'd heard a large explosion and a commotion. Lots of kind of murmurs involving the words beholder and mind flayer and dead researchers. It's been quite the series of gossip about the complex. Off in the distance, you hear the kind of sound of large doors opening, like inwardly towards your courtyard. And these doors are about 60 feet tall. There's two of them. They're about 80 feet wide. And out from the middle kind of strolls confidently this dark-skinned, bearded wizard from the country of Chult, for those of you familiar. His robes, long and ornate, colored like a tropical bird. And he makes his way over very kind of studiously, and anybody who's kind of often away from kind of the group kind of draws everybody in. Good evening. How's everybody? Thank you for that work last week. We really appreciate it after all this research we've got going on. Who's ready for their next task this afternoon? Yes?
Absolutely.
I think I'd like that very much.
Very well. As you know, your contract stipulates that for the most part we will ask you to do things we believe within your capabilities, but at no point do we guarantee your safe return or the continuation of life. We here at Candlekeep just would like to remind you of that those waivers you signed still stand. Now,
Reminding us of this now. You haven't mentioned this the last 3 jobs you had us do.
usually we don't have to. We don't get this far. We've found adventurers in your kind of constant employ. The further they work along in their career with us, the more they begin to ask these questions. And as we have a full legal team here, we try to be compliant in all things. Most times, there's no point in reading it to them because they don't usually come back. So, you being the exception, here you go.
Why help,
my
Minch?
agent when we're done with this job.
Minch, nothing can't kill you if you kill it first. Just get your doodads out there and take them out before they get a chance. That's what I say.
That's exactly what it says in this book right here. Did you read?
I just signed the
Volume 3?
papers. I just signed the papers. I didn't worry about reading. Yeah, I just wanted to get my gold, do some adventuring. I didn't see the point in reading all of it.
Wait,
It's fascinating read, I must tell you.
were we supposed to die? I'm sorry. I kind of zoned out for a second there.
Supposed to usually do, who's to say? I'm a divination wizard. I can't tell the future. I don't know. We just kind of expect most people to come back. Some people we don't. Some people, we're, I don't know. I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but we're surely surprised when they come back. You guys definitely not. We were totally expecting you to come back, and anybody who bet otherwise was foolish and paid for my weekend in Baldur's Gate last week. So who's the fool now?
Zero's very happy hearing that.
Yeah.
As he kind of talks over his shoulder in the sky, the birds kind of seem to almost be congregating over the repository and library portion of the complex. And somehow almost always seem to be, whether they're actively flying or just kind of, drifting up there, they seem to be facing the party.
Is there? Can I do some sort of vibe check? Is there like? Do I get bad vibes from these birds?
Bro, am I feeling this or not?
I think I would ask Kai, like, "Hey, man, do you know what? Like, these are acting weird, right? It's not just me. I'm get."
I muted myself. Sorry. I ain't seen them act this way before. How about check and see what they have to say? You will cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Talk to the raven.
Minch rolls his eyes. Says, "This never works."
I talk to Peanut every evening. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, don't listen to him, dude. I'm gonna give him a bardic inspiration if he has to make a check with these birds.
The birds kind of flutter a little closer. Al just kind of keeps rambling on about your expectations, and he's even pulled out like a scroll reading the finer points of your contract just to be fully compliant with his legal department. And as he does so, one of the birds kind of flocks its way over. Trying to get our last player. Bird kind of hops over, like birds are wont to do. Gives you like a call. And after it does it again, and it just kind of says food, or you understand it as it asking for food.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cast the Speak with Animals, so I can understand it just normal. It's like food. You all are acting crazy for food? Is there got to be something else going on?
Food?
I'll give you some food if you tell me what you all are looking for. What you're really looking for.
It hops up and down like a bird does. Food.
Tell me something. He pulls out like a little treat that he would give Peanut. He's like, tell me something good, or you're not going to get the treat, bud.
Food.
Kai kind of turns around to the party and says, "Hey, he just keeps saying food. I don't know if maybe they're just really hungry."
Well, are you going to give it to him, or just going to tease him like that? Obviously, he's not going to tell you anything.
Yeah, just give him some food, man.
I think he has got to
like
earn his food. He tells me what I want to know, and I'll give him the food.
Everybody else nearby, while Caius hears this bird, expressing the want for food, everybody else just hears this bird like aggressively cawing, and hopping like up and down.
Look, man, you got its attention. You called it down here.
Food.
Just give him a little bit of food, man.
Food.
I tell you what, I'll give him half the food. I'll give him half now, and then half after he tells me something useful. Okay, here you go, little raven. Now, you better not let me down here. And he gives him the little half the treat.
Guru Grandpa, thanks for the follow. So you throw it down, it picks it up and kind of like food as it
Peanut whimpers his treat.
As it chews it, and as it tries to like bite down, like a piece falls out of its mouth, and as it bends over to pick it up, you're not going to end up doing what that wizard wants you to do today. Food.
He says, "Now what do you mean by that?" And then puts another little piece of food down.
Food. The fates have chosen you today. He is talking nonsense, and it matters not what he says. Food.
I'll grab out another treat.
Can you ask him, who do you work for?
So you tell me who sent you here, and then here's the food. Just tell me who sent you here to talk to us, because I don't want to listen to this rambling guy anyways. I just want to get on to whatever we're supposed to do.
Al's in there. And now we're up to section 3, paragraph 4 of housing and liability beyond 4 adventures. The birds still have food. Everybody else hears a caw. And it gets
is just like reading over Al's shoulder and just like poking like at individual words. Like, now, can you tell me, what do you mean by foreign here? Is that just outside of Candlekeep, or is that somewhere else?
To every question that you pose, no matter how ridiculous, he gives a full like legal department briefed answer to the thing, so as to constantly stay in compliance. The bird still cawing away. You throw it another piece of food, and it goes, "The fates have chosen you."
Well, where do we go to meet this fates thing? And then he like kind of aggressively puts down a piece of food. Just tell me where to go.
Hey, and you hear him like turn and kind of glance in the background. Everybody else hears the bird suddenly caw towards like the courtyard at large, and Caius is going to hear, "Hey, this guy's giving out food for ambiguous answers." And a couple more birds are going to flutter over. Are you serious? Yeah, man, just give him a cryptic answer. He'll give you something. Just scream food at him. They don't know what's going on, I don't think. They might. But as far as I know, it's just this guy. Just scream food, and he'll give you something, and you give him a cryptic answer, and hey, I've been over here all day. Let's do this. Food. And now you've got 4 birds hopping up and down. Food. And to everybody else in the party, it just looks like these kind of 4 birds just descended on the kind of cafe and are just cawing away.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Over the next 10 minutes, which is the duration of the spell, Kai makes 2 trips to the bread, like a store, like whatever coffee shop, to get like bagels, whatever the Candlekeep version of that is. And he keeps like getting frustrated with the birds, like, just tell me what I want to know. Tell me where to go. And I assume the party just is snickering over another failed attempt.
I think like you're getting too upset. I'm like, dude, here, I got these brownies. You might want to try these brownies. It'll mellow them out. If you want to take some, mellow you out a little bit. And I can't understand what you're saying. I don't even honestly know if you're talking to him but whatever. Yeah, man, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, are you screaming at them in common, or are you two making bird sounds at them? Like, is this just kind of weird, or is it really weird?
It says I can verbally communicate with the beast, so I assume that what I'm saying sounds like the bird. So it sounds like I think it means that I'm squawking as well.
Okay, so the rest of the party is watching you squawk at these birds aggressively and feed them. Okay, cool.
Yes.
I'm just gonna lean over to Art and be like, I don't know who's more bird brains, him or the bird.
I think they're playing him, honestly. I think that they're
It's outsmarted by crows.
DM's got to paint a picture too. So they just kind of, and after a couple of moments, basically just before the spell, the other 3 have kind of taunted you with tales of lost artifacts and fallen empires, things they read in fortune cookies, inspirational posters that they see in the kind of towers of Candlekeep when they mill about the place.
So Kai goes over to the group and says, well, they kept telling me all this stuff and kept asking for food. I kept giving them the food, but they just kept giving me these weird answers, like they never told us where to go. They just kept giving me things like, we've been chosen by the fates. I mean, what's that supposed to mean?
As you hear this, the birds are kind of like, see, I told you. And then after a while, like the 4 new birds are like, man, just leave this guy alone. Like, just go back to us. And, all right, and they all kind of flutter
It
off.
just had a buffet.
Unfair to pick on this moron.
They so even despite all this with the birds, the group, the large flock, has still kind of perched itself up on the walls. You haven't been in Candlekeep that long. You don't know if this is a kind of common resting place for birds, or if these birds you see on the kind of parapets up of the inner part of the complex are related to your birds who just got a free meal and had some fun at your expense.
I think everyone had fun at mine.
Al, seemingly finished reading everything he does, looks to Scissero. You have any more questions? Or
Respect a good lawyer. No, you've answered them all.
okay, we have to be safe here. Who knows what could be inside magic books.
Is Al like wearing like a satchel or any kind of bag?
No, just robes. Like I say, he looks like a red macaw, basically, signifying his Cholton heritage.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
He finishes up. Well, if there is nothing else, then let us proceed. And he's going to turn quickly and start to make like a pretty good little distance between you and the party, or between him and you. And as he does so, as he turns his back, you realize that he's just continuing to talk. He starts on about the unfortunate incident with the beholders yesterday, and how it couldn't have gotten worse with the mind flayers, but they're pretty sure they've got it right today. And they just, they really believe that you are the adventurers to handle Candlekeep's apparent beholder / mind flayer problem.
Does it sound like does it sound like I'm listening to one side of a telephone conversation, or does it sound like ramblings?
He's talking to you unaware that you are not super interested in what he has to say. He's just, as he's moving, expecting in a way that wizards often do, that that they are the most interesting thing in the world and that you hang on their every word.
Cicero's actually gonna follow pretty close behind him and like feign interest.
See, I knew somebody paid attention. Look, the guy who's all into the contracts. Of course, he's very diligent. I applaud you. I feel like there could be a future here with us. If you make it through today and all.
Do you want to make a bet?
I don't know. I did pretty well betting on you guys not to die last time. I don't know, but I might be able to get some from the guys in the back. They don't ever learn. They're a little slow.
Well, I'll tell you what. Take this over. Whatever you bet on us, double it for me, and I'll come back for the earnings.
Yeah. What can it hurt? Anybody? I just say I was backed by the guy who died. Nope. I don't know anything. I'm in. Done.
There you go. And so I'm just gonna slyly like palm him a little. I actually don't even know how much I have, but a sum of money.
And does this get it done? As he continues to walk, Scissero kind of in tow. Everybody just making their way with him, but not in the hustle or the keep up with him.
No, Minch is definitely trailing behind, as he has actually not put his book down yet. He's still reading it as he's walking.
Okay. Caius, you making your way leisurely? You right behind everybody?
Yeah, he's just making sure he doesn't lose sight of them. Given the previous adventures, he knows that if he spends too much time dawdling around, Owl will be out of sight. So.
And then Art, I imagine you just kind of slow rolling it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in any rush.
I
made a decision. Art made a decision right at the beginning of this dude talking that like nothing he says is worth my while. I'm just not I'll wait for a pause and then I'll say whatever I think I should to fill the gap.
Sure.
But if he's on and talking and if Cicero's there, I'm just like, okay, I'll trail behind like 10 or 15 feet or so.
All right. As Al continues to kind of ramble on, you get closer to the Emerald Gates, which are the like the point of separation between the inner and outer portions of the complex. It's attended by 2 guards. They're essentially kind of the only like military kind of service here in a complex full of like scholars and intellectuals and academics, that they still need to provide security from people, even though there's probably some of the most powerful wizards ever inside these walls. And as Al approaches, he kind of looks at one of them, signals to the party. There was one of the guys that bet on you guys to die, huh? You happy to prove him wrong? And the guard kind of shyly like looks down.
I'm gonna go over to him and say like, "Hey man, you didn't know. It's okay. It's all right, man. Chill out, bud. Like everybody makes a bad call sometimes. It's all right. We didn't die this time. That's a bummer. I get it, but you'll get him next time, dude."
And Kai will come up and say, "Yeah, unfortunately, this time I was talking to those damn ravens out there. They didn't give me any clue as to what we're supposed to do, so I don't know what our chances look like today, but you might want to bet for us because, you know, the ravens are even against you might want to bet against us today because the ravens are even against us."
He kind of, at the mention of betting against you, looks down like once again. Al kind of hears the back and forth. It's like, now's our chance. The contract one seems to want to bet on themselves too. So if they don't make it, what do you think? And just kind of an embarrassed look. He was like, we'll get to them. We'll talk about it. I mean, you know where they're going, right? All right, it's up to you. Al is going to step through what little part there is in the gates. I mean, he's just a man. Doesn't need to open the whole gate up. And as he does, what has been like a bright sunny day suddenly just turns almost pitch black, like middle of the night, dark. And like a deafening sound of fluttering and cawing like fills the sky, blotting out the sun. Al kind of stops talking and takes a few steps back, puts his hand up. Looks like the beholders and the mind flayers are gonna have to wait. And he looks up. Yeah,
We bet on our next adventure, right? Not on any specific adventure. Just the next one.
The next one, I think.
Okay.
I'm confident in
All right.
us. You do good work.
So the sky blots out, as dark as it's gotten, and almost, I don't know, probably half of the people in the courtyard who you would guess are not of the higher tier of employee at Candlekeep and not, you know, real prodigious scholars, are panicking. There is a moving flock of birds large enough to blot out the sun as they sit in this exceptionally large complex. So, you know, people at the tavern are hiding under tables or going inside. Al stands there just completely unconcerned and just pulls out a little kind of notepad and starts, like, it looks like he's taking notes.
I'm gonna lean over to Al. Is there a umbrella stand somewhere? This coat is really expensive, and I like the hat. I just, you know, nothing personal.
They're not those kinds of birds. And he looks
You
like
lost me there, Al.
he looks like he's trying to kind of grab some scale and you know, kind of, it looks like almost count the birds in the sky.
Kai, what the hell did you say to those birds, bro?
I started getting really annoyed with them, and I told them to go to hell. I don't know.
Kai, we talked about this.
Damn it, Art! They pissed me off.
Kai, just because
I'm
Told you it
sorry.
never
I know.
works.
I
It
know. I
never
told you
freaking
all
works.
I wasn't going to freak out on a little animal again, but these ones deserved it. Okay,
it's
they
always the
deserved
little
it.
ones too, bro. Like, what is it with you and little animals?
This is why I trust machines.
Little animals. Okay, they have attitudes of. Have you ever met a raccoon? Okay, they are
No.
mean. They are mean.
Why would
Okay.
you? Why would you want to meet a raccoon? I don't
Why?
understand.
Why? Yeah. Why do you
adorable.
try and talk to them then?
They're adorable.
First off, I thought because they steal a lot of stuff. I thought maybe they could tell me where to find some good food. But of course they said hurtful things.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah. Maybe because you like stereotype them based on what type of creature they were. That's not really cool, Kai.
Let me tell you how many times I've been out in the woods and they've gotten into my knapsack. Okay, I go camping, and those raccoons take everything I got. So I don't want to hear it.
Is it maybe during this time that we're arguing about woodland creatures that we are joined by the last member of our party?
As soon as I can figure out how to bring them in, yes. Oops, that's actually you twice. Yeah, so we are now joined by our last member, and Maz, I will get you up in the overlay in one quick second. Do.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
You're good. Traffic, you know how that goes.
Yeah, Maz comes running in. He's like, "Where? I found you guys. There you are. You see this shit? You see up there? You see all this? Did you guys do this?"
I
We
point
actually think
right
you
at
might
Kai.
have.
Yeah, we all point right at Kai.
Of course.
I know
Yeah,
this
it's
from the
not my
shipyards.
fault.
You feed one of them, and they all come. They think you think you get food.
They told me they would tell me stuff if I gave them food, and
Never,
then they just
never believe them. Don't believe them. Birds are
Like we
liars.
talked about, like the raccoons, you don't believe them.
I know. Next time, it won't happen next time. I know I've said that the past 3 times, but next time it won't happen, okay? I'll make sure I responsibly speak to animals and don't tell them to fuck off.
The
Peanut
I'm gonna
doing
bet
right
it.
now?
I'll
Yeah.
bet you.
how's your pet doing with all these birds? Like my dog would be losing his shit.
Peanut's probably very annoyed seeing the birds. He's probably like wanting to go like hunt them. He wants to go chase them around. He's probably like running around the little courtyard, just like chasing the birds as they like to fly to the
leaping
other
into the air.
side. Yeah.
Trying to grab it.
As the kind of flock, that's probably not even the proper, doesn't give the scale, kind of descends closer to the walls that separate the portions. Al, just ever mindful of the sky, kind of puts his little notepad away and turns to you. I bid you the best of luck. May the fate that has chosen you also chose a victorious path for you. And he's going to turn. The gates are going to close. And the swarm of birds is going to descend all on the wall, all on the ground around you. And as they do, they all kind of almost blink and caw.
I start saying, I'm sorry.
In unison. And everybody's going to hear a caw. Caius is going to hear help. And they are going to fly away. The sun is going to return. And on the ground between the party and the now closed Emerald Gate is this simple little book. The cover is wood. It's bound with laces. It's not like one continuous binding. It's wood cover and a wood back, some ribbon tying between it, and out of it as like bookmarks are black feathers.
Caius will say, well, I understood what the one said. It said, leave this book alone. It does not want our help. Those damn birds.
So then Maz walks over to the book and begins to pick it up. Is this what we need to read this? Who can
Those
read
birds
this?
don't deserve our help.
As you kind of pick it up, it's very light, dusty. The pages obviously very worn, like weathered, cracking. And as you kind of pick it up, because if it's not really bound in a traditional way, a little letter falls out. It's folded in half. It looks like it's written on like a piece of scratch parchment. Not a formal draft or anything. It's folded in on itself, but you can see that there is writing on it.
We get an introduction from Maz before we...
Yeah, we can do that. So Maz late to the party while everybody was dealing with legal and the swarming and the Hitchcock portion of this one shot. Let's meet our final intrepid adventurer who's no longer stuck in traffic to Candlekeep. It's rough this time of day.
Hi, I'm G. I'm playing Maz, a Tabaxi artificer, artillerist. Yet another. So we have a full like artificer troop here almost. He's a leopardy type, kind of like some worn wrappings, kind of an outlander. He's got a satchel. He's kind of disheveled. He's kind of looking around. He's late. You know, just trying to get everything together, but you know, not always quite there.
All right. Our tabaxi with their claws, a little hard to kind of dig into the wooden cover. And like I said, this little note falls out. It's folded in, and you can see writing on it. The book actually turns out to be kind of empty. There doesn't seem to be any writing on any of the pages as you flip through the entire thing.
Okay. Guys.
I'm going to lean down and pick up that letter and open it.
Okay. It's written in common. The script seems, I would say, unrefined. You're kind of a well-to-do rogue. You would know the handwriting of the finest paid scribes, as well as anybody probably with a formal education in writing. The words are spelled correctly. It just looks like a little rough of a hand. The letter reads, "Dear adventurers, for the past however many days, it has been so long that I cannot count. And the number will be higher by the time this letter reaches you. We are at our wits' end and seek your help. A conspiracy of ravens has taken nest in our family tower. No matter what we try, we cannot rid ourselves of them, denying us peace for what seems like an eternity. Please come to the Chalet Bruntifal and rid us of these pesky ravens so that we may know rest." And it's signed Sylphine. After
Can I just make sure I got that right? The Chalet Bruntafal and Sylphine?
Sylphine, Sylphene, and Bruntifal, Brantifaux, en français. That's how you do it.
Are these like places that are historically recognizable?
The name is probably just the author of the letter. Something titled or styles Chalet probably isn't like a super well known, throughout like the realms. It's probably a big deal in its locality.
Okay.
Yeah. As you finish reading the letter, the overwhelming sound of cawing ravens returns, and as if like shot out of a cannon, ironically enough, just your vision and everything around you is overwhelmed by like a spray of loose black feathers. And after a moment, they kind of fade and stomp, and you have been completely transported away from the inner walls of Candlekeep and to a large field with an ornate house on a hill in front of you. The house is made of stone. It appears high ceilings with a tower standing prominently in the rear of the structure. To the left of the house is a section of the garden that is cordoned off from the rest of the property with an ornate wrought iron fence. On the fence, a conspiracy of ravens, that's what they're called, sits seemingly disinterested in the 5 random beings that probably just seemingly appeared out of nowhere. It is evening. It still feels like fall. And this house sits before you, lights on, appearing as if everything seems relatively normal.
You want to try again with those birds?
I think we learned our lesson, right?
I think I'm gonna try again. I tell you what, it's gonna work this time. Okay, mark my words.
Hold on, but do we still have the book with no pages, with blank pages? Has anyone done
it in his hands?
Has anyone done an investigation check on it yet? Or any kind of...
No, yeah, could I do an investigation check?
Yeah, everybody pour it over. All right, let's see what this thing does. This is bad.
I know what this is.
Now, Minch himself rolls a 24.
All right.
I got a 13.
Okay.
Are we all rolling? Or?
If you would like, just whoever highest roll is basically going to get the info dump. So Minch is going to kind of look it over. The binding seems rather rudimentary. It has been a while since the kind of evolved humanoids races used this technique of bookbinding.
Okay. What's on the face of the book again?
It's actually like a plank of wood. So it's wood grain. It's stained like maybe a faded. What was once like a deep black is now just kind of a faded. It has little like nicks and grooves that appear to have all been made by the same object, whatever that may have been.
Well,
Yeah, dude.
for a book full of blank pages, probably written by some kind of bird brain, right?
Seems like it.
No, man, I had one of these in Bard College. You cut a hole out in the middle. It's supposed to look like a book. Just hide your stuff in there, bro. Open it up. I bet there's some stuff in there.
Minch is still good. Flipping through the pages, right?
Yeah, and as you kind of flip through it, you notice that the top, like I said, it just kind of hangs loose, like a Cheesecake Factory menu. And if you wanted to, you could actually like kind of fold the pages over on themselves, like a slinky. And the more you mess with it, the pages seem bound to each other very well, and the wood, but the thing connecting it all together just seems kind of flimsy.
Can we flip to one of the bookmarked pages?
Yeah.
Is there anything different on the bookmarked pages?
There is a couple of pieces of straw and what looks like just a tiny little shard of maybe like a piece of metal that broke off of something larger.
I'm going to investigate that piece of metal.
Okay.
Bringing all of my tinkerer skills to bear for a 13.
It looks like an individual like piece of scale mail, like one of the little facets of it. And
Those are a collection of items.
where
in this
the
book.
where the hole would be for the ring to attach it, that part is broken, so it looks like it broke free of the fastener to the shirt that it was probably attached to.
All right, so on this page there is some straw, and there's a piece of scale mail,
Yes.
and it's a black feather, like from one of the birds.
If you wanted to, you could probably take a dagger, cut the end of it off, and use it as a quill,
But it's not already shaped like a quill.
No, but it's a feather in the same way that you would use for a quill.
Does anyone have detect magic?
That's going to be a no.
Identify.
I thought about taking
Artificers usually have detect magic.
They can.
Really?
Yeah. As a ritual. Which they can't cast rituals.
All right, Caius, you gonna go talk to these birds for real?
Yeah, Caius will
I'm
go
gonna-
talk to
All right.
I'm gonna rip out some pages of paper and just like stuff it in my bag, and I'll just take the feather too and just kind of put it in my pocket.
Pages from the book.
Yeah.
Okay. So Caius is gonna make his way over. The birds all kind of look at you, in kind of in unison. As you walk up on the wrought iron fence that kind of cordons off a small part of the yard, you realize that it's most likely the family graveyard. You see big rocks sitting out, some of them relatively new, some of them quite old. The writing is faded, they're kind of covered in moss. A few of them appear so old that that even all the etching and engraving into the front of the marker gravestone are almost smoothed out. You would guess there's probably 2 rows of 6 graves in the graveyard.
You said two rows of 6?
Yeah.
So before Caius tries to talk to the raven, he takes like a deep breath, like to de-stress. Hey, Mr. Bird, can I ask you some questions?
The bird kind of seems, kind of taken aback, looks at the other birds. I guess. The bird seems hella confused. Yeah, sure. Go for it.
A conspiracy of ravens came to us with this book over there, asking us to help them. Problem is, the book's empty. Ain't got no words in it. Ain't got no text. All we found was a little piece of scale mail, little tiny piece. So I'd really appreciate it if you'd help us out here and tell us what we need to know, like give us some kind of hint as to why the ravens needed our help to come here and gave us this little book.
It looks around at the other birds. We didn't ask for your help.
I know it wasn't you. Just a group.
The little girl in the house probably wrote you that letter. They're always going on and on about how they can't rest and how they can't sleep and how it seems like it's been forever. We're just out here. They want to blame us as ill omens or emissaries of the Shadowfell, or whatever they want. She's mad. Her parents are mad. And they would like to believe in witchcraft and all of these things to demonize some birds. We've been dealing with this just as long as they have. We're just fine. We don't keep them up. If anything, we hang out in the tower, the back of the house. It's broken anyway. There's no bell. The floor's rotted. It's a great place for us to stay dry. We're just trying to coexist and survive in the same way that they are.
Well, see, you know what? I just gotta say, I don't think I've ever talked to an animal outside of Peanut before that actually sat down and just told it to me straight. I really appreciate that. Now I can finally go back to these guys. And by the way, I'm sounding like I'm squawking right now, so y'all don't know. Like, I can go to these guys and give actual information, and I won't look like a fool. This just made my day. I appreciate it.
We want the same peace that they do. And every time they come out and hassle us or try to set fire to the tower, we can't rest. Look around, and as you kind of turn around from the view top on the hill the chalet sits on, you see there's not a lot of like trees or anywhere where like a bird could seek shelter that you, being kind of outdoorsy and knowledgeable about animals, would look at the smashed tower of this house and understand that that's a good place for birds to be when they need to get out of the elements.
So Kai will pull out some treats and you all definitely earned these, and give it to them.
They all kind of caw appreciatively.
And then Kai will go over to the party. And be like, well, it looks like the birds are saying that these people over there are trying to kill them because they think there's some kind of omen. So I guess the ravens that sent us here just want us to calm this crazy family down.
We gonna kick the humans out of their house? And
I think that's what we gotta do, but ideally we could just talk them out trying to kill the birds, but people don't change. They're gonna try to kill those ravens the second we leave here.
I just want to give Kai a big hug. And just like, you did it, man.
I did. And the little tear goes down Kai's face. He's like, I finally, after adventure, I finally talked to an animal and got something useful.
Now,
As
wait,
a
hold on,
tabaxi,
sorry.
I'm just standing there like, okay, I guess I'm chopped liver.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Come here, bro. And I'll hug you too.
Scratching behind the ear. All right, that's enough. That's enough
His
affection.
tail kind of like, his tail kind of whips around.
That's enough affection. That's it.
So are we? So, are we on the side of the? Are we helping the birds, or are we helping these people, or both?
I think we get to talk to these people, right?
I hate to say it, Kai, but I don't think the birds are going to pay us. I don't think the birds have hired us. I don't know who's in the right or who's in the wrong, but I know who has the coin.
Seems like a diplomatic solution would be
So
ideal.
are you telling me that the one time I get good answers from animals, I can't act on that knowledge?
Hey, act on it all you want. I'll act on
This
something
is
different.
bullshit.
No, man. I mean, like now nobody can, say you're incompetent or like dead weight or.
I
no use
appreciate
to
it,
the
Art.
group.
Art, I told you
appreciate
that
art.
was between us.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm so bad at keeping secrets, man. I'm sorry.
Yes, I've learned.
No
this,
one
I've
said
learned
that.
this.
As Caius walks away from the ravens, very appreciative, they seem kind of perplexed at how effusive with praise he was when he asked them a question and they answered it. But as they kind of go about their time, even though the spell is still active, they are going to call out And not only is Caius and the rest of the party going to hear it as a traditional raven's call from the tower in the back of the house. It's going to be almost like a return kind of caw from what sounds like 3 or 4 other ravens up in the tower.
And we don't understand what they're saying?
Nobody does. Everybody not, speak with animals is just going to hear a raven's call as usual. Caius is also going to hear a raven's call as well.
I think we met the welcome party. Do we want to knock on the front door now?
I think so.
Minch interrupts briefly and says, as he kind of finishes doing the wallet dance around his tool belt, looking for a particular item, pulls out. I forgot I had this. It's a wand of detect magic that he had created as part of his infuse items. And he asks, do we think it'd be a good idea to, this is a limited use deal. Does anyone mind if I blow it on this book?
Maz holds up the book.
All right.
In a way.
Pow! He casts detect magic in within 30 feet. Faint aura around any creature or object that bears magic.
Alright, give me 1 second.
And also, I understand that the feather has been pocketed somewhere, or some components that were tucked in the book. Please pull those things out of your pockets if you scurry them away.
Yeah, I'm within 30 feet, but yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
So I imagine you envision it as like something just that's magical, gives off a glow, or some kind of distinct kind of aura. The feathers do not.
Yeah.
The letter does. The book does. And those two things give off an aura of transmutation magic.
Feather in the book?
Yes. Or no,
not the feather.
The letter and the book.
Letter.
Oh, the letter in the book.
Have we read the letter yet, or is the letter blank?
Yeah, the letter was
the letter was what told us that we needed to come here. It was from
Oh, okay, right. Okay.
Yeah, we need rest and all that.
Hey, does that kind of sound like ghost talk? That kind of sounds like ghost talking, right? Like, is anybody else getting like a real ghosty vibe from all of this?
There hasn't been a Sylphine here in 25 years. Now that you say that, can I? That's actually a good point, Art. Can I just go around to the gate? Is like the gate to the garden to the cemetery? Is that is it open? Is it locked?
It's not locked. It is closed. The fence is only about waist high, wrought iron. It's pretty well kept. All the fence posts seem to be pretty straight, not like sagging in sections like they would. And then, like I said, it's inside. It's as you walk in through the gate, you'd be flanked by 6 markers on each side of this little path that goes through the garden.
I'm just going to not necessarily nonchalantly, but not without looking too hard. Just take a peek at all the names and see if any of them look anything like Sylphine. And if there's any that are too faded, I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of dirt and kind of rub it in to see if I can get some contrast.
Along the, you can tell that they are basically one set of 6 is definitely older than the other ones. The ones on your left-hand side are going to be newer. All of the names are things like Baron, Ostrid, Aston, Missin, Tobin, and Killen. On the other side, they are all either faded or worn. The last 2, the gravestones are almost completely smooth. They're so old. They barely sit. They've probably been cracked at some point in their existence, and while the other ones probably sit 12, 14 inches off the ground, these sit no more than 6 or 7. Their tops are irregular, and most likely anything that you would see on it is the placement of the stone is more of the memorial at this point than the acknowledgement of who's in the tomb or the grave.
And just by chance, are the last names are there last names on there, and are they bountiful?
They are. As the birds.
Nothing here for me to take a look at, but I think we can go in.
As the kind of back and forth cawing between the various conspiracies of Raven, I love that term, it eventually settles. The ones from the graveyard kind of fly off, at least a little bit away, as Scissero makes his way through the graveyard just to give him some space. As the party kind of approaches the house, you see it appears to be very well lit. Kind of sheer drapes obscure like a clear look in, but from the outside through the windows that you can see, everything appears very well lit and very well kept. The decor kind of befitting a house of this size and this kind of standing on what you would imagine is the entire estate of this family. And from inside you can hear the kind of muffled sound of like kids playing, and the kind of heavy stomping of feet on a wooden floor.
So we're just gonna go and knock on the front door. Just wait.
You hear off in the distance, coming from the group in the tower of the house, you hear those birds kind of give out a call that seems almost in unison, like 4 birds just exactly the same time for the same duration, just vocalized. And no answer at the door. You continue to hear the same kind of muffled. At this point, you're probably realizing it's probably a conversation, and the stamping of the feet kind of moving throughout like the house.
I'm starting to get the feeling I don't want to be outside anymore. Anyone?
You want to
Anyone
knock
wanna
on the
see
door
if
again?
There's a warm fire inside. Maybe away from some birds.
Yeah, they probably just can't hear us. So I mean, they'll.
Yeah, I mean, how do you hear knocking with all this squawking outside? You know what?
And they're
They
running
asked
around. Yeah. I think we
Yeah,
should just go in and call
They
out.
asked
Right?
us to be here. They're expecting us, and I'm just gonna go for the doorknob.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to humanoid again. That'd be nice.
Okay.
No
So
offense, Kai.
all right, up in stream, I've kind of put the map from the house. For those of you who can see it, in the upper right-hand corner, the northeast corner is the front door. It is at the far edge of the house. There's a little foyer, some bushes. There's the graveyard. And like I said, by all appearances from the outside, this house seems very hospitable. You're not really sure what time it is. You're not sure how the time change works with the feather travel. But it's early evening, nighttime. These sounds probably wouldn't be atypical in a loving family. You push the door open into the grand foyer. The house is very well appointed. It smells just, like rich people's houses smell. I don't know, like money and tears of sad people. Whatever Yankee Candlework calls that scent. It's very well lit. The chandelier has little candles in them. They're about halfway burned down. The conversation, while still not perfectly clear, is a little clearer. It appears to be sounding coming from almost directly above you upstairs. The sounds of the footprint sound like they're maybe in a room nearby. And off to the left, as you walk in, is a little tiny door and a little tiny stairwell that's closed, kind of recessed into the wall perfectly.
So we're all in this foyer.
Strikes me as the type of house with people who would be very grateful for some help. I think we should find someone to speak to, don't you think?
At that, I'll kind of call out, "Hello."
At the sound of your voice, you hear a child laughing, and the kind of clomping, heavy foot steps stop, and they seem to be right on the other side of the closed door in front of you.
So I'll reach over and open it up.
As you open the door, it pushes inward to the next room. Before you can get into the room, the footsteps go up the stairs, and you hear a door slam, and almost can see it close just as you come into the room. In front of you, it's a large formal, the family room. There's a large fire burning. It's very warm. It's well lit. All of the furniture looks unbelievably comfortable. And on the table appears to be like a half-eaten tray of fruits and cheeses and nuts.
Can I go up and check on this food and see, like, does this look like something that was, like, fresh out, or can I see, like, dried, crusty edges to, like, the cheese?
Investigation or perception, whichever you would like.
Natural 19, 26.
Nice.
Apparently, at some point, Scissero did some work impersonating a member of the health department, and he could tell that not only was this food properly stored, just on a sheer, like, kind of finger touch, it feels slightly chilled, like it hasn't been out at room temperature forever. The cheese is still kind of soft, not sweaty or like kind of like cheese can get. The crackers are still, they're not even stale. The cut apples haven't oxidized in any way. And all the dried fruit looks perfectly good. You can even smell everything that appears on the tray, that is on the tray.
I'm gonna grab one of the cheeses, and as I'm smelling it, just kind of pop it in my mouth.
Okay. Make a con save. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I always wait for somebody to eat something and want to do that. You eat the cheese. It's perfectly palatable. It's actually pretty good. The quality and everything about it is, very indicative of probably the status of the people who own this house.
Seeing Scissero enjoy himself, I'm just again like verbalizing my rationalization for like not cool actions. It would be rude to not eat. Like they went to all the work of putting this out, right? Like, yeah, we should take a little bit. And I'm just gonna start also snacking.
Yeah, I agree. Me and Peanut will go up, and you can't tell who eats it more, like a beast, Kai or Peanut. It's a competition between them, Kai's just growing up in the woods.
All right. I'll move the map of the house around just since you guys already did the graveyard, so you get a better idea of the layout of the house. So everybody kind of goes over and eats.
I don't eat. Maz doesn't eat anything. He's doesn't. I mean, he sees them all eating, but he doesn't feel comfortable just going to someone's house and eating. He calls out again, like, "Hello, we got this letter. Is anyone here?"
From the top the closed door at the top of the steps. Behind it, you hear the heavy footprints of a child once again, and probably the giggling that a toddler does when you're playing hide and seek with them. And then from directly above you, you begin to hear like a musical instrument of some sort, and the conversations still muffled, but just as you heard them from outside, it sounds like 2 or 3 adult voices at this point.
Are they? Do they sound like it's just casual conversation? Is it
casual conversation? The kind of most dramatic sound going on is most likely the child running up and down, but you haven't heard anything. They even seemed unconcerned by it. No change of inflection or sudden pause in the constant murmuring that you hear without being able to understand.
so? Question for DM and also, I guess, Kai. Kai was the only one who heard help, right? When all the birds were
Yes.
at the beginning. Was that in so that was like in bird speak?
Yes.
Did Kai relay that to the party?
Well, yeah. I kind of joked saying because I was mad at the birds that they don't want us to help them. They said to
that's
stay
right.
away from us. Yeah, but yeah, he
He told you, and then you guys made fun of him, so he's not really interested in sharing in the future. So maybe this is some group dynamics you guys could work on. Dungeon Master and group therapist. How does not splitting the loot make you feel?
I accept your feedback.
I'm validating your feelings. Yeah, all right, cool. Dungeon Master. It's also part of the game. As you kind of stand in this room, to your there's going to be a corridor that without a door that kind of goes following from what you see. It would be the ground floor of the tower that you've seen from outside, and then to just next to the staircase on this floor is a closed door.
I want to tell the group, I think we should go upstairs and find these people and let them know that we're here and make sure that we're, that we're supposed to be here.
Yeah, that's probably the best course of action. I would like
Starting to feel like they're a little bit inhospitable. I mean, we're here, they ask for our help, we say hi, and there's no response. So yeah, I would like to find somebody.
Yeah, especially since they're in the wrong, because they're picking on these little birds over there, and those birds are just hanging out. Those are not birds. Let me tell you.
I just
These
okay,
are nice
so
birds.
because they are the first animal to ever listen to you, maybe we shouldn't be too right. We want to be mindful of our biases.
But hey, you
Confirmation
have listened to me,
bias.
and he has been a great ally my entire life. So let me tell you, these birds, I know these things. Just remember, I grew up in the woods. I know when to trust an animal, and those birds are trustworthy.
Maz just kind of looks around like, I'm an animal.
Right here.
Liver over here.
Catman, right here. Do you want me to purr? Is that what it says? Do you want me to grade myself for attention?
Well, he says, Maz, I wish I could call you a good one, but Peanut here, he would get very angry at me if I was, being nice to, a feline. So
I see how it is.
It's
All
not personal. It's not
I'll take a
personal.
look at. I'm looking at what's his name again?
Peanut.
Peanut. I'm looking at
He's
Peanut.
a big Saint Bernard.
Saint Bernard.
Did he eat
And
any
I kind of stand a bit taller. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
not shaking my head around.
Bristle up the fur on the back of
It's
your
like a
neck.
little growling.
Yeah.
Before we leave this room where the food is, Minch wants to take a closer look and inspect any packaging or labels, maybe on the cheese, perhaps
Yeah,
a
like
date stamped on the rind, or maybe there's a bottle of wine that has a particular vintage, though that might not be as indicative of anything.
The bottle of wine on the table is labeled with a label for the chateau in which you currently occupy. The
so they're-
the label says from its own cellars, and its vintage is probably about 100 years old. It's quite impressive.
Minch is going to try the wine.
It is as good as people try to make you believe aged wine is. If you were ever a doubter, this was the stuff that made you like a convert. You believe.
Are there any uncorked bottles in the room?
There are two. They look identical to the open one, as if whoever brought them. The plan was to drink 3 bottles of wine tonight.
Yoink.
Both of them?
I'll take one.
Okay.
But
I don't
hey,
want to be
boys,
rude.
this shit's good. I hand the open bottle.
I'll have me a swig.
Caius, you
Where
two.
that came from.
You two taste the amazing wine as you kind of look at the label. Like I said, the vintage is probably about 100 years old, and the label is a picture of the house from the front, as you've seen.
Is there any way for us to tell? I don't. Porter doesn't know how wine works, but is there any way to tell? Like, yeah, this is probably 100-year-old wine versus like, no, this was 3 summers ago.
Without getting snotty, yes. You can. There's a bunch of characteristics. I do it for a living. I fake it at least.
Oh.
There are like clear-cut signs, and maybe not necessarily in age, but in quality. You can't tell me something that was made last year can be this good, like that kind of thing.
Has notes of mothball.
The bottles do appear a little dusty, as if they probably came from the wine cellar of what appears to be the chalet on a vineyard. Yeah.
Good wine.
Off.
Do it right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Off in the kind of down the corridor, the large, like I said, what you would believe to be the base of the tower, the cawing from the top of the tower can be heard a lot more distinctly, probably due to the damage of the tower that the birds told Caius about. They seem a lot more distinct and a lot louder and clearer than the muffled voices upstairs.
So I want to tell you all what I'm confused about, because I have this letter here that says we have a little girl who's trapped up inside of a tower, can't get any rest, and is being tormented by these birds. And now we come in and we find a feast and we hear playing upstairs. So you might want to go find who's upstairs. I want to go check out the tower.
So let's split up the party. No.
Listen, I'm not saying
Jinkies!
split the party. Kai tried to suggest that last time, but we said no, okay?
Yeah, it's one of those classic Kai ideas. Those classic Kai ideas, and I just gotta say, I think we should
Okay.
probably.
Stop picking at me, okay?
Idea.
But if we would have went with my idea last time, it would have worked. It works every time.
80%.
Listen, it would have worked, but that guard would have won that bet, right?
You know what? I think we would have made it out alive. You know,
So
yeah,
I
you
guess
know what?
this is
I'll be
just
right
a.
next time.
I agree with Scissero. We should follow the letter and then investigate beyond that once we've cleared the tower.
Yeah, I think we
don't
should
know
do
we're
both.
here yet.
It's-
We've
I
made
guess
a
it's
bunch
just
of
a question
noise.
of like. Sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
I was just gonna say we've made a bunch of noise so far. If they don't care enough to investigate, then I think we're good to make our way around.
Okay.
As I walk like to that hallway to that room, I take that second bottle of wine and just kind of put it in my bag.
Okay.
and start walking toward that base of the tower.
Okay.
Oh man.
As you make it into the base of the tower, you see that the walls are almost entirely round and made of glass. This is a very nice like conservatory. Just outside, you see the view of the graveyard, but beyond that, as the hill kind of rolls down, you get a sense of like a really grand panoramic view of the estate. When the sun's up, the ravens have returned to their spot on the wrought iron fence, and from the perspective of inside the conservatory, you can see that they are oriented on the fence to be facing the tower and kind of staring up at it almost, expectantly.
I want to look up and look at the ceiling, see if we see anything.
In the ceiling, you can tell there is like water damage. You can tell the kind of discoloration, maybe a little sagging. It is probably also why this room is devoid of any kind of decorations or furniture. And through like the ceiling, you can tell some of it sag. It may have even kind of cracked a little bit. You can just kind of hear what sounds like the kind of like scratching on wood of an animal kind of moving. Except they sound like big and heavy, kind of digging into the wood.
That's coming from above us?
Above you.
I will start backing up slowly.
When you say big and heavy, like how do we have an idea of how much like they would like what kind of what does it sound like?
It would sound like
Yeah.
you would expect a humanoid to sound like walking on the floor above you, but with like a tinge of probably like Maz sounds if he walks around like barefoot, or maybe a little heavier. The claws kind of digging into the wood as they step. Just, I imagine part of the walking action kind of engages them just for stability. So that kind of
More like Peanut.
Yeah. Bigger than Peanut.
Yeah, I'm like a 6 foot plus, jaguar looking thing. So, yeah.
So,
Right.
like that sound, like you would hear Maz walking on like a tavern floor or something, except above you.
I always imagined Tabaxi as more like house cats, but that makes much more sense. I understand now.
Get out of that windowsill. It's warm. There's sunlight.
Don't make
Did
me
I
get the
did I
ball.
mishear earlier, or was there? Did somebody say something about a fire in the tower?
That there was a fire in the tower. It looks like it had been damaged.
I see. Does this? Oh, I see. From the outside, it looks like it. Had been.
Yeah. Part of the roof
The
is
whole thing, or just?
think of the stone structure round, and then the top where it kind of comes to the point. Usually, kind of a wooden structure, shingles and the such. There's holes in that that either look like they could have been a fire, something fell on it, or something. But there's a hole in the top, exposing it to the elements.
Like, are we just kind of in a big cylinder, or is there like is there a spiral staircase somewhere?
In this room, it is just it is all glass all the way around. For the conservatory part of it, the only stairwell that you've seen is the one right on the inside of you coming into the kind of living room.
Right.
There's a ceiling at the same level as the other rooms that we've been in so far.
Yeah. The ceilings of the family room are basically a little higher. The stairwell is probably half of a flight of stairs to a little landing and then a door.
Gotcha.
To like maybe in modern parlance probably like the equivalent of like an upstairs loft or like a split level house maybe.
So there's no table or anything else in here.
And there, no. They've left the room completely blank. there's no fire in here. There's no lights lit. And the chill probably comes from just the complete lack of like insulation of an all glass room.
So I say we go upstairs.
Yeah.
Or at least
we
look in
find
the-
another way up this tower. It's
Yeah.
not in this room. Well, let's find up wherever up is.
All right. Everybody kind of comes out the corridor back into the main room. There is a closed door to your right and a stairwell in front of you.
As
Mm-hmm.
you do any? How far did you get into that canon book? I tossed at you earlier.
It's a blank. Been looking through it.
Maybe we throw together a couple of elder cannons and send them in ahead, or put one of them behind us to protect
I have
us.
a homunculus servant. I'll just kind of pull that out of my pocket, and wind it up a little bit, set it off to fly. It's a little drone sort of looking flying scorpion with some like little hands down, little tail hanging down, and those little pinchers out there. We'll send it to that other room.
Perfect.
Cool. So I'll just send it off. It flies into the other room. I can't see through it, but it'll like beep, and I can tell what it's saying, like R2D2. I can like translate his beeps and boops.
Into the room on this floor.
Yeah.
Okay. So the door is closed. You just kind of ask the servant to push it through. It pushes open. Inside a library. All of the books, in an extensive book collection, spines look different and are various, independent of each other. These all appear black, gray, or an indeterminate color that is now dark and black because of age, and they line all of the shelves. There is a table in it. On the table there is a very ornate crossbow sitting on the table, and above the fireplace is the head of a very large, you would most likely guess an Aarakocra or a Kenku sized bird head mounted like a trophy above the fireplace.
So my homunculus servant is beeping all this, beep, 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 and so I just translate and tell you guys all that. Books, fireplace, crossbow, head on the.
You and your thingamajig. That's pretty impressive.
That's
Okay.
pretty cool, dude. That's dope as hell. Minch, are there any other charges on that cool wand you got?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to sneak my way up there though. Minch is gonna make a stealth check and then head over to within 30 feet of the mounted head and do a detect magic.
Okay.
Oh geez. With advantage, it's a 12 on the stealth check.
Yeah, you kind of make your way in. Did you as you pull the servant out, or is he just kind of still sitting?
Yeah, he'll fly back into
Okay.
me, and then I guess he'll walk into
So you're gonna kind of pass ways with the homunculus servant, and in your 12,
I wink at it.
yeah, you may have like kind of accidentally bumped it or clanged it. Pausing for a second, nothing happens. The conversation upstairs, you think, stops for a brief moment, as if they heard something, and they go right back to what they were. And as you push your way through into the foyer, or the library, which is basically an oddly oriented 20-foot square, so everything is for the most part within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
The occasional book will glow with magic, most likely enchantment. The bird head does not. The crossbow does not. The only thing in here that really kind of pops out to you is going to be a random kind of smattering of books on the shelves.
Okay. Does Oh man, that's a lot of information that I could go try and learn more about. All right. I want to go to like Minch. His eyes are drawn to like the highest concentration of glowing books.
Okay.
So maybe the shelf or the end of a shelf that has the most books, and he just starts reading the spines,
As
trying
you,
to grab as many titles as he can, and he moves across the bookshelf, trying to find as much info about what these titles actually represent.
okay. As you make your way past the kind of odd, book here, book there, shelf with a couple more, to where you see like the biggest cluster of glowing books, and as you look at the ones that you walk by, you notice that there are two common subjects on all of the books. They are either about the Shadowfell or about ravens.
All right, so Minch, his eyes dart around the room, and he sees on a shelf that's just too high for him a glowing section of books. So he drags over a footstool that he sees near an armchair, and he plops it in front of the shelf and scurries up, and that's when he sees this information. Um, so Shadowfell, sorry, the Shadowfell, is that what we said?
Yeah.
And the
And
Feywild?
just ravens are the two subjects.
Shadowfell and Ravens. And I think that's about as much as he's going to be able to accomplish in the moment.
All of the books, as you investigate closer, seem to be about creating a path to or from the Shadowfell, and also books about ravens as they pertain to being omens.
All right, I'll let someone else take the reins.
Okay.
If you're like telling us the things that you find, I would ask if you find anything about like if there's anything about getting to the Shadowfell that sounds like the way that we got here, or I guess anything about like omen, like raven omens that aligns with any of the things that we've come across so far.
Okay. If you want to,
That's a place we want to go.
if you want to Ichabod Crane it through the house with the rest of the party, like you were in the courtyard of Candlekeep, I would allow it with obviously some mechanical hindrances as they may come.
I don't think I understood the full extent of your references there, but
So like I said, you said you weren't even looking up from your book. If you wanted to pick a book, I would make it conveniently
sure.
one that could teach you, and as you constantly read it, being an important factor here, through the rest of the house, perhaps what you might need to learn could be deciphered at some point.
can I make up a book name?
Yes. You
You can DMT on it if you like.
You're gonna pick one. I'm gonna give you. You pick a subject. Your choices are going to be ravens, or the Shadowfell. Like I said, the book about ravens is how they pertain to being omens and what ravens may be an omen of. And the Shadowfell is going to be about how to get to and from.
All right, I'm gonna. Minch finds a title that he pulls out. It's called "Dark Wings, Dark Words," and it has a glyph of a raven on the cover and on the binding. He's gonna pull that and start furiously reading through the table of contents in the index.
Okay.
He usually starts with the index.
All right, and so Raven,
There is one.
you went with Raven as the subject matter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I went with Raven as the subject matter.
All right. So Minch,
good,
We're there for.
Minch, the ever curious intellectual, probably trying to figure out how to turn ravens into projectiles out of a cannon, or appropriate raven-shaped cannons. Yeah, so you kind of tear through this book, and the book seems to be a collection of kind of first-hand accounts by people who've been visited by ravens or believe them to be significant of any myriad of things based on, kind of their locality and their, civilization at the time.
All right.
Yeah. So you're going to keep reading?
Pouring through it.
From upstairs behind the door, you can almost hear like a slight little creaking as if the door has opened. A much clearer child's laugh, as well as a quick slamming of the door and continued laughing of a child from the top of the stairs.
My homunculus servant zooms out and zooms up. It's like doesn't see anything and zooms back down.
Yeah. Everybody was gonna have seen the movement of the door. Just anything kind of moves out of your peripheral, you're gonna look. So everybody saw it. The child's laugh was much clearer, in parcel with the door being slightly opened and then slammed really quickly. And like I said, as somebody with a toddler, they think slamming doors is fucking hilarious.
Yes. Yes.
Before we continue, I would check with the party to make sure that nobody has any deep-rooted raven fears. But I would like to try and... You said there were mounted heads of Kenku?
Just one. It's a blackbird. It could be a Kenku. It could be Aarakocra or bird people. But
Did Minch get a better idea of what it was when he got up close?
It could be either one. The key takeaway is that it is a humanoid-sized bird. You don't typically mount bird heads, right? You mount the whole damn thing, eagle spread. So this one being especially rare because it's, I don't know if you'd mount it and stuff a Kenku, that'd probably be bad as shit. It's just the head like you'd keep a deer head or anything else. But the fact is it's a bird. It's weird.
I think I want to cast Disguise Self as that either Kenku, Aarakocra, the head, and then whatever I think the body might look like.
All right.
Yeah, just to see if anybody reacts strangely to that.
Okay.
Upstairs.
How long does it last?
An hour, I believe.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, 1 hour.
All right. You're gonna turn yourself into it. You're gonna kind of look. The head you've got pretty spot on, and not to be make generalizations about birds. For the most part, you got 2 wings, and you look like a dude in a bird suit. So for the most part, nailed it.
Cool.
You seem totally believable as you begin to move through the. So how does it work? It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Okay.
If anything, physically, so I if I make myself shorter than I was before disguising myself, but if anything were to pass through where my head actually is, it would still stop. It doesn't physically change me. Just anybody who's looking at me sees
Like a hologram.
the image I project.
Okay.
And then I think that they
Can't
can
touch the
do
beak.
they can do an investigation check against my spell DC to determine that it's an illusion or not.
So you walking in this form is going to sound the same as Art the bard walking. You're not going to assume the claws and the bird feet and all the kind of different things of locomotion that you would, right? You just a dude who looks like it for everybody to just think so. Okay.
I think so. I've got the actor feet also. I might just be making raven noises
Okay.
to distract from that.
Are your knees reverse articulated?
They look like it. So if you, I guess you kind of try on the roll. Let's see. You try a couple of lines, and the calling from upstairs is returned to you in the same way that the calling from the graveyard has been returned from the tower.
Can I ask, now that we've been listening to this like back and forth, this kind of difference in kind, can we distinguish anything different between the birds outside on the fence and the birds in the conspiracy and what we're hearing coming from the tower?
They sound deeper, as if they're larger, possibly from actually being larger, or the kind of reverberation from being in like a stone room.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just projected out through probably a window on the third floor. It's a proper tower at some point exposed to the elements, and then the second floor would just be like the conservatory of the first. So, like I said, it could be just an echo from a kind of enclosed stone room, or they could be much larger.
All right, I want to start walking up the stairs.
Sure.
See what's
As
behind that door.
you make your way up the stairs and try to push through it, the slamming of the door previous kind of wedged it in there pretty good as you kind of initially try to push through it. You hear a giggling and a heavy scampering up what sound like wooden steps as you push into, like I said, it's kind of a loft. It's a landing between, there's a stairwell off in the northeast corner. You have two windows that kind of look out onto the property, and it's like an odd little sitting room between floors.
Okay. And is there anything else in it?
No, just a little couch, a little table. Not in the kind that you would expect people to actually sit in it, but what looks like for somebody
Looks
to
nice.
pretend this is a sitting room. Can I sit in it? Hell no. Get the fuck up. It's one of those.
Right. The little girl. I'll tell out to the group. Looks like the girl ran up some more stairs or something. And I'll call out, "Hello, little girl. Are your parents here?"
You hear, like off in the distance from upstairs, Are you here to help us? Mommy told me.
Yeah, we got a letter. Oh, sorry.
Mommy told me you'd never come.
Well, we've got this letter, and so we're here to help with the birds. Did you write that letter?
She kind of, in a way that a child does when they're embarrassed or put on the spot, giggles, and you hear the trampling of heavy shoes on the wooden floor as they kind of make their way, as you can tell, like the sound moves through the house.
Up and away.
Yeah, up and away from, kind of where the stairs would most likely take you on the second floor.
All right, but I haven't seen her yet.
Haven't seen her. The closest you got was the little peek through the door, and then the footsteps all throughout.
Okay. I say, "Hey guys, this girl's gone upstairs. I say we go on up."
Oops.
Yeah, I'm gonna come follow. I'd like to, if we have a chance again, can I speak to her?
I think that'd work.
Yeah, I have a way with kids. They like me. They like my coat. They like the feather.
Yeah, I always try to, get on their good side and let them pet Peanut, but for some reason they always get scared and run away.
You got to be careful about kids with peanut allergies, dude.
Yeah, we'll leave the birds to Kai, leave the kids to me.
you guys work
and
for a
yeah,
library, just for the record. Yeah, so everybody wants to kind of go upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send my homunculus servant to kind of go forward, and if anything happens or what it sees, it kind of beeps at me.
Okay.
He's just going to trail behind. He's not as confident with his plan. He's not even sure that anyone's actually seen the person that's being spoken to.
Okay.
So he's being a little sus.
All right. As the servant kind of makes its way up, the stairwell winds a little bit back on itself. It kind of what's the range on it, Maz? How far?
I don't know if it's 60 feet or 120 feet. Let me look that up.
For the servant, how far away?
Yeah.
From?
That was
I don't think there's a range. On
Okay.
it.
This is what we did last night. Yeah, we couldn't figure it
Yeah.
out. Okay. So it's gonna kind of make its way up. You know, I get. Does it beep just in its regular existence, or only upon like alerting you for something?
Like alerting me. It
Okay.
kind of giving me like general search
Okay.
information.
It gets to the top and kind of gives a tone and chime of, an all clear, nothing to report. And as it goes a little further, it starts to beep very quickly, and you hear a child's voice. Hi.
And it beeps back.
And
Beep, beep, beep,
yeah,
beep.
it's just beeping like crazy. You hear the child kind of laugh and kind of take off down the hallway once again.
Yeah, maybe the homunculus servant kind of like waved its little like scorpion pincher at it as it runs away.
It's like it's just gonna.
And then it flies back.
Okay. It's gonna fly back down. Like I said, completely untouched, unharmed, and the kind of giggling and the of feet continue upstairs.
Okay, Delma seems clear so far, guys. But let's be wary. This is weird.
So before you said that, like, above us when we came in we heard those voices. Do we hear the voices coming from where we're about to go, or were they like elsewhere?
They would be you would hear them like above you in the same way if you have somebody who lives upstairs from you. You can hear kind of the muffled conversation. So as far as your orientation, you could look, it's up there. You are now on the second floor. The child's up there. And still from the floor you're on, you're kind of away from where the room is, like this half floor, little, distance away. If you were to make it to the second floor, like the hallway, you could probably hear it.
Okay. I'll follow up if that's what we're doing.
All right.
Yeah. So, just as a side note, my homunculus servant, it can fly like 30 feet, and it can do like my magic stuff within 120 feet.
Oh, cool. All right. This is actually going to be a perfect time to take a quick break for everybody right before we head to the second floor. It's 9:06. We'll try to take 5 minutes, and we'll come back with the second floor and more things about birds. All right, everybody, thanks. Hope stick around. We'll see you in a minute.
The bird apocalypse.
All right, we are back. Let's go ahead and change this from the first floor to the second floor. So the party sent the homunculus servant up. It met a little girl, and after saying hi and kind of like a childish giggle as if it's embarrassed or put on the spot, kind of tramples around upstairs as the party makes its way up two flights of stairs. Let me get a marching order, please. The hallway is only 5 feet wide.
Just based on D&D Beyond,
Oh, shit.
Caius has the most hit points and AC, and I have absorb elements if I get hit by like a spell. So I think it makes sense if he were in front with Peanut behind him. Or,
Sure.
I'd like to be pretty close to the front. Like I'm gunning to talk to this kid or whoever pops up. So I'd like to be as either front, maybe like just backed by Kai, or either right in front or just behind. But
You can be in front if you want. I don't think the kid will be dangerous.
Famous last
At
word.
least,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think it's more likely to have a conversation before
Kai's
attacking
never
than
seen
just
The Shining.
ambush.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll
actually
go
haven't seen The Shining, so.
All
And
right, so
as you know, I can take care of myself. Let's
Cicero.
Let me take one.
Kai, Peanut, in front or in front?
Behind.
Behind. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be behind the dog.
Technically, one of you all could mount.
Minch is behind the dog.
It's that big and sturdy, really?
Yeah, it's a medium beast, and you. Oh, you're a tabaxi, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking gnome. I know Minch is a gnome.
Yeah, Minch would prefer to continue to be at the rear of the party,
Okay.
but
Okay.
unless someone has a better reason for taking that spot, he's willing to give it. He's gonna take it.
All right. So I have it Cicero, Kai, Peanut, Maz, Art, Minch. Okay. All right. Come up 2 flights of stairs to a winding hallway. I'm going to need Cicero to make a perception check and Kai to make one at disadvantage as the kind of second to turn the corner.
Is it
17.
too late to give? Oh,
Okay?
maybe it is too late.
What do you want?
22. Yeah, I rolled a 15 and a 17.
Okay. Art, what do you want to do?
To give a bardic inspiration to whoever was in the front.
I
Take it.
was saying, yeah, if you want, yeah, go ahead.
Is that a D6 at this point?
Yes.
Ooh.
And
Rolled a 5 on that, so that's 23.
Okay. So you're going to be turning. You're going to make the left turn and be facing down the long corridor. A corridor to your right, and one at the end of the hallway that also turns to your right as you are looking at it. As you kind of turn the corner, you hear the laughing of a child and the heavy kind of footsteps, like when a kid's excited. You know, they kind of stand there and stomp their feet. And it's just down the small part of the corridor, or the corridor closest to you.
I'm just gonna look back. Hey, Maz, can I borrow your toy?
Sure, and he flies off my shoulder and buzzes around up to the front.
I'm gonna follow the sound of the footprints and just call out, Sylphine? Sylphine, we're here to help.
Mommy said you wouldn't come.
Well, Mommy doesn't know how good of friends we are. Do you want to meet my friend?
If you're here to help, yes, please. And as the child continues to talk, have you turned the corner to look down the hallway, or is it just?
Yeah, as I'm talking, I'm moving towards.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of like walking forward while talking.
So exactly halfway down the corridor as it appears on the map, you see like a very nicely dressed blonde little girl. Very kind of proper posture, probably befitting of a well-to-do upbringing. And she's just excited, and she seems just unbelievably mesmerized by the homunculus and like laughing at it like a kid would do.
It waves its paw, its pincher, and
And she waves back.
it goes beep beep boop beep beep.
And as you turn down the corridor and see her and the kind of homunculus off in the distance, getting a clear view of her, she is a very real little girl.
Very not a ghost.
Standing, yeah, very, very corporeal. Not incorporeal, very corporeal. And as you look down the corridor to your left, the room that you can see a door that is closed, you hear three voices. Two male and a female voice, carrying on in regular kind of everyday conversation. You overhear things about like the harvest and the price of barrels, when it's going to get cold, and just this kind of casual conversation that's become a lot clearer now that you are upstairs.
This is down the main hallway.
Down the main hallway, as it appears on the map, if you can see it, it would be out of room C13. And you're going to be staring down the corridor between 10 and 11.
Right. And so I'm kind of like face to face with this little girl, right?
Yeah, she's going to be basically on the back side of the fireplace, in that part of the corridor. And you can either be stepped into the corridor or just like completely at that like three-way, that intersection. But you're
I'm gonna take a couple steps in and like just get down on one knee.
Okay.
And like, I mean, I hope this girl hasn't heard of stranger danger because it's totally just approaching her with the toy. But like hold out the homunculus and just be like, "Do you want to meet my friend? He's very friendly. Don't worry about the pinchers. He's very friendly."
It's going.
It's been a while since I had friends. Mommy doesn't let anybody come over anymore, and she's just unbelievably entertained by it, with its interactions back, and she's trying to make faces at it and kind of see what it can do.
Now, is that your parents in this room right here?
Mommy and Daddy and my brother.
And your brother. Now, I bet they don't let you have any fun, right? You're just running around all on your own, making your own fun. You don't get any friends who come?
Mommy says I'm lucky to live in such a nice house that I have all the space to do all of these things.
Well, I mean, you are lucky. That food downstairs is very good, and the wine, excellent. Oh, you probably don't know, but if you ever get the chance, just a little sip, very good. Now, is it because of the birds that they don't let your friends come over?
We just haven't had anybody over in a while. Daddy made Mommy very angry, and ever since then, we haven't seen anybody. It's just been us.
And do the birds talk to you? Are they your friends?
No. They won't let us rest. And I just want to rest. I'm so tired.
Just one more question,
yes.
my dear. Just little Sylphine. I bet you know the best hiding places around here, eh?
Yeah, I'm very good at hide and seek with my brother.
Do you ever hide up in the tower?
Oh no, I don't go up there. That's where they are.
You don't get curious.
Mommy says I can never go up there.
Well, I'll tell you what. Me personally, I'm going to go check it out for you. I'm going to deal with what's there, and then you're going to have the best hiding place. Your brother never going to be able to find you because you're going to be up there, and you're going to be the champion. Okay?
I can't wait. We we play every day, and I'm running out of places to hide.
I'm going to find you the best place. Could you do me a favor? Because we're friends now, and you have this new little toy.
Yes, of course.
Could you go get your parents for me? I would love to have a word with them.
Okay. Yes. And she, kind of walks by. As she gets to the end of the hallway, she looks down, and she looks up, and then kind of slowly makes her way to the door, and Mommy, you told me not to write that letter, because you told me nobody would ever come, but somebody finally has, Mommy. Please talk to them so that we can rest. And she pushes open the door, and the voices become very clear. And even as she pushes open the door, the conversation does not stop or break, and there's no acknowledgement of her even existing or having opened the door, as the conversation between the three just continues to carry on.
My homunculus servant is like on the girl's shoulder or something, and kind of beeps at whatever it sees.
Minch is starting to grow nervous at the bottom of the staircase, I think, is where he's still at.
Okay.
But he begins furiously pulling tools and supplies from his belt and his pack as he begins to assemble his Eldritch cannon.
Is this like while he's reading the book, or is it like you've put the book down and are fully?
Yeah, no, I can only multitask so far. So between listening and reading the book, I've chosen to put the book away to both listen and build my cannon now.
You're going to be tinkering on the cannon. She is going to not have fully walked into the room, but just pushed her way, pushed kind of the door open, and she's just kind of standing there. And as they continue to talk, you see this little girl that just a couple of seconds ago playing with the homunculus was just, everything you would want a child to be, and now she looks sad and slumps shoulders and just kind of stands there looking at the ground.
I'm just gonna pull her just put my hand on her shoulder and kind of guide her back and just go, you know what, I think it's time for the grown-ups to talk. Why don't you go and show me one of those great hiding places? Count to 100 and I'll come and find you, okay?
Okay.
It'll be fun, I promise.
I'm gonna find a good one. You don't know where my best places are. And she...
No, this is my first time here.
She scampers on down the hallway and down the stairs, pushing her way kind of past Minch, as a child completely ignorant as to what the hell he's doing. And just kind of pushes her way down and, does the whole Kermit arms thing as she goes down the stairs. And you hear the heavy footsteps again kind of go off underneath you. And the conversation has just continues to go.
So what do we see?
Birdman, step in here for a sec.
Yeah, I'll step up.
Okay.
I'd like to walk in with Art and kind of not really announce my presence. I mean, we haven't been subtle about us being here, but just walk in with the giant bird, the illusory bird next to me, and see if there's any indication that they are acknowledging us.
The homunculus servant is still just kind of floating there.
As everybody kind of enters the room, you see three people. like an older gentleman in his 50s, a woman in her probably mid 30s, and a younger man, probably in his early 20s or so, kind of sitting around, almost like you'd see it like a cocktail party. Everybody's very well dressed. They seem to be sipping on wine and have done nothing to acknowledge your presence or anything as you walk in there. Just going about their conversation without any acknowledgement for you, Selphine, or anything to this point.
I'll caw. I'll just a couple times just to test, like.
Nothing. Still haven't looked up, and in no way have acknowledged like anything about like your presence. The door being open, they just continue to jibber jabber about whatever.
Homunculus servant just kind of like attempts to like fly through the younger man.
It's going to pass right through him. And just as every other moment since you've walked into this room, their conversation continues basically completely unabated. Now they've moved on to a discussion about selling wine to a neighboring lord.
So when
the homunculus servant flies around through the husband and wife too.
Through all three of them.
Yeah.
And when Scissero put his hand...
I think we're asking the same thing.
Yeah.
When I reached out and grabbed Selphine, like I could, and the homunculus servant like landed on her shoulder, like that. She was corporeal, right?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes,
so
she was very tangible.
Okay.
And the footprints, or the footsteps, the physical slamming of the doors, every sign that you've gotten has said that, like I said, your own personal touch. She's real, corporeal. And so the homunculus kind of flies around, and like I said, they just seem completely oblivious to anything you may offer or be able to do to them.
Should we check out the tower? I mean, I don't know if there's anything else we can do in here.
I think I have a feeling this has to do with the birds. A little bird told me, if you will. Or a little bird told Kai, and then Kai told me. It's a telephone.
Don't trust those birds, man. Unreliable flying rats. Alright, so back in the hallway. Hallway continues, makes a sharp right turn. As you would imagine, based on the ground floor and the top floor, this would be the section of the house where the second story of the tower attached to the house would be. You see a closed door and like much more kind of ambient outside sounds. The grasshoppers, birds, just ambient sounds that you typically don't hear while inside a very nice chalet, as it were. I just want to push through the door into the thing.
I think so. I mean, I don't know if there's any point in knocking or anything.
Okay.
No, we're past formalities at this point.
Yeah.
All right. As you push in, you're met with a stone structure, very much the same as the conservatory downstairs. The walls in here all stone, and above you, you can see a large hole in the floor. So the roof to you, the floor of the story above. And also straight up through that hole, like exposed nighttime sky. The hole looks like it was created by there's scorch marks by a fire, perhaps. And then parts of it since the fire have begun to collapse, probably due to exposure and being rained on. There's kind of debris from the hole fallen into this part of the structure. The ceiling's about 30 feet above you.
And there's no like creature walking around like we heard.
You hear just as before, foot sounds very similar to Maz walking on like a wood floor.
Above us?
Yes, directly above you. And the once again kind of deep cawing of birds. Once again, not sure because of the reverberation of the stone, or maybe they're bigger. But instead of the kind of just sporadic caw, like random vocalizations, these seem to be more murmured and kind of pausing every now and again. As the kind of figures move about. At this point, you realize you probably determined that there's probably 3 figures in the 3rd floor tower.
Oh shit! Did those fools get turned into? We should have cast detect magic in that other room to see if they were illusions or what, or like or ghosts.
I mean, they're clearly illusions. Yeah.
I
Can
only
I?
have one more.
Clearly illusions.
Only one more slot to cast detect magic. Then my temporary item is destroyed.
Can my homunculus servant kind of fly up through the hole and see a bit more?
Yeah.
See the creatures themselves.
As it does, you hear it kind of like startled, on the floor. Like 3 beings were startled and kind of jumped, weight changing on the floor, and like the calling stops, and you can hear them speak in like a hushed common. She did it. They've finally come.
Call out. Yeah, we're here. We got a letter.
And then another one, you can hear kind of put like a heavy footstep down and start to go back to cawing. And then the other 2 follow suit and go back to cawing.
Okay, my homunculus servant comes on back. Lands on my shoulder. Okay. Now what?
Yeah.
All right, so am I getting it right that there's we're on our level, there's like a room, and then we hear them above us?
Because there's a hole.
There's a 3rd floor?
Yeah, there's a 3rd floor to the tower. It's like a wood floor, and there's a hole in it. So at some way, 30 feet basically separates you through a hole into what's upstairs.
And there's no, in this room, there's not a staircase, there's not a ladder?
No.
Okay.
If I'm looking at the map correctly, are those stairs at the end of the first hallway where we saw the little girl?
By C10 and 11
by C10
is where you saw the little girl. C13 is where the family is. C14 is the tower. And then to contrast it with the 1st floor, the stair where you came up the stairs is basically in the same place. So that little sitting room is mirrored on this floor by C12. So the same layout.
I see. But so is by C10, is that thing a staircase, or should we assume
like
that
a circle
through another doors?
It's hold on. Let me see.
There's like a little small spiral staircase.
Yeah, it's like. Yes, it is a spiral staircase.
I mean, should we try and get up there?
I think we continue up.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've metagamed this, so you can take there's basically mirrored spiral staircases on either side of the house. You can go up through C12, which would be the second floor equivalent of the sitting room on the last floor, and there's a spiral staircase in there, or there's the one at the end of the hallway where you encountered the little girl.
Probably the one in the hallway, since we haven't seen the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one we know about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we will jump up to the boom, third floor.
As this is happening, Minch completes the construction on his Eldritch Cannon, which is it's a tiny thing. It's got 3 legs and has a long barrel with venting holes and a tank on one end of it. This is the flamethrower iteration. Minch is ready to burn this place down.
Cleanse it with fire. So you make your way up to what is essentially now the attic of the house. There's pieces of furniture in here, kind of stashed, covered in like cloths to keep them from being dusty. There are crates, just collections of like probably paintings and stuff that the family has taken down over time. There's a small door immediately to the right.
Cover the paintings. See what they look like.
They appear to be family portraits or portraits of the family members. The backgrounds are pretty similar. They look like the chalet. And as you kind of make your way through, you realize one of them is of the little girl. And it has her name in a little plaque. And the years of her life only totaled 10 years.
Oh shit.
Oh shit, indeed.
What were those years in relation to what year we know it to be?
They're probably about 150 to 200 years ago.
Dang. Okay. So I tell that to the guys.
Dude, are we in the freaking Shadowfell right now? Like,
Did we time travel?
full disclosure, guys, I was not listening when that wizard was talking to us earlier. I have no idea what we're supposed to be, or
Y'all were talking to a wizard?
This wine definitely tastes better than 100-year-old wine I've ever had before.
I have
maybe-
no idea. I don't see any forests around, and that's kind of my specialty is in the woods. So I'm not too sure.
Well, I mean, I guess we should get to the tower, right? There's
Look at this door.
I think the door to our right is in the direction of where the tower is, so
Okay.
I would open that.
You push open the door. In it is another storage room, this one full of chandeliers and horse saddles. And in front of you is the part where the wall kind of begins to curve for the tower structure, and a chunk of it is missing, like somebody basically smashed through it to get from one place to another. And on the other side, you can see kind of these large figures kind of scuttling about. Pretty sure they are aware of your presence.
Say hi. We're here.
Caw?
We got.
How's it going?
Minch, trailing behind, makes a stealth check. He fails it spectacularly.
They're just sticking out from behind.
It's like, don't look at me.
You don't see anything. Yeah, you're right. Wow, I can't believe that worked.
You can't see me.
I'm
So-
incredibly still.
On the floor in the room you just walked into, you see exceptionally large, like, footprints, but shaped like birds' feet, in the dust that is accumulated over however many years. These creatures have inhabited the chalet.
Um, is there a safe way over to the hole in the wall, or?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's just a regular room. You can just see the footprints in the dust, and then where the opposite wall would be, there's just a hole in it.
Yeah, I guess I'd make my way over there.
Okay. As you
Cawing the whole time.
as
Oh,
you
that's right. You look like a bird.
as you peer through the hole, one of the birds gets like exceptionally angry and starts getting like aggressive with another one of the birds.
Oh shit! I don't know what I'm saying. I'm mimicking the birds that I saw talking to Kai earlier. So I would imagine if anybody can speak bird, that I'm just saying food over and over again. But I stop cawing and like I turn, I think, to Kai and just be like, did I do something wrong?
You just told them to go to hell. Yeah, that was what I said. That was the last bit that I said.
I'm sorry, dude. Yeah,
You
I
gotta
shouldn't
say
be
it
so
like-
quick to judge, man.
You gotta be like, caca, not caca. Yeah, see? That's all
I got
right,
in over
man.
my
You'll
head,
get
bro.
it.
Hey, I thank you. Listen. This is honestly your domain, and I tried to like
No,
to
I
force
think,
my way into that. I shouldn't
I
have done
think you
that
did
at all,
great.
bro.
I think you did great. It just, practice makes perfect.
All right, so it's caca, caca.
Caca, caca.
Okay. Caca. Are they still angry?
Like I said, at each other. Where the hell is it? They're angry at each other, or two of them are. One of them just kind of sits there as the other two seem to argue.
Can Caius understand them? Casting Speak with Animals again?
Hold on. I lost my stat block.
Ooh, a stat block.
Well, it accompanies the art.
Talk dirty to me.
Right.
If you would like to cast it, I would let you.
Awesome. That's what I will do.
As you cast this and they get a full view and it turns out to be true that somebody is here, they begin talking amongst themselves, but speak with animals does not translate their cause.
So what are they saying, Kai?
You see, that's the thing. These ravens, they have a different dialect than what I'm used to. It's like they don't make the same sounds that I would expect.
Okay, Kai. So, honestly, like I try to give you the benefit of the doubt and stuff, but half the time I feel like you're just straight up making this shit up, bro. Be real with me. Can you fucking understand animals or not?
I can understand animals. I don't know what it is with these ones.
Maybe
Okay?
they're not animals.
I swear to you, it usually works. Okay, usually, like, I,
It's like
They
calling
just
mockery.
gotta-
Whose line is it anyway? Points don't matter.
This is every iteration of Dr. Doolittle I've ever seen in my life. At some point, that scene happens. Are you full of shit? No, I swear I can talk to animals. Eddie Murphy would be proud.
It doesn't happen to be undercommon that they were speaking, was it?
I know.
Okay.
So they kind of continue to murmur to themselves in an unintelligible language. The kind of, I guess the smallest one seems to be, kind of roughing up the largest one, while the third one kind of stands off to the side, watching it.
Did we hear them earlier though? Speak common.
You heard some. Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes. I could be like, you heard something speak common. It's the only thing up here. So,
Right.
Yes.
Right. So we know we know they
Um,
can speak common. They can understand us.
hello. I don't know if you guys can like understand me or not. I partook of your wine and cheese earlier. Delicious, by the way. Thank you for laying out that spread for us. There was like a thing for help. We're the helpers. Working title. Yeah, do you guys, what's up?
They kind of stop and look, and the one off on its own turns to you and seems exceptionally hesitant as the other two both shoot it like a very serious, stern bird look. I don't know how birds furrow brows.
Yeah.
They knock their head to the side. Really?
The the larger one kind of pushes off and kind of stands up straight. Caws at you, and I need everybody to roll for initiative, please.
Oh shit. Guys,
And
don't
just
worry,
to
I
be
got
clear, these are not with the ravens that we initially spoke to, right? That doesn't appear to be, since they don't like speak the same language.
they are not the ones you spoke to out on the fence.
They considerably
You
larger.
guys ready for this nat 20 initiative roll? Yeah.
I got 7.
Got 7 as well.
All right, so who's 7? Maz
7.
and Caius.
I think we both have +2.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to go today?
17.
Oh, sorry, I froze a little bit. I rolled a 25.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Damn.
Oh. You're
So I'll go
rogues are
yesterday actually.
rogues. I forgot. Rogues are stabby monks.
Rogues of Stabby Monks, and my subclass, I get to add my charisma also to my initiative roll.
On my Tuesday game, I'm always amazed when the monk goes first. I'm like, wow, dude, that is a great initiative roll. And they're like, dude, every week you go through this. Yes, that's his thing. He's going to go first.
Newsflash.
Yeah. You can't...
Minch
can't-
rolled a 17.
Okay. I was like, you can't constantly be impressed. Art, what'd you get?
I got a 10.
Okay. June.
You know, it's not about the size of your initiative roll. It's about what you do with your spot in the order.
That is
10
correct.
is respectable.
Dude, I got a cleric on my Tuesday show who would love to hear that speech. My man goes the last.
He has 6 dexterity.
Yeah. And
This is why Minch chose Thunder Wave as a spell, because it's about the motion of the ocean, right? Like, Thunder Wave.
as
Hey, I got that.
as the 3
Oh, jeez.
kind of
We choose the same characters. man.
ravens
Basically,
kind
we
of
like clink our wrenches together.
let's go do this for the
Yeah.
union. As the leader, the largest, kind of steps forward. The others kind of take a cue and raise a little short crossbow threateningly, and Scissero will be first to act.
Just kind of like my first impression, like I see this and I've got a rapier like out immediately, and just kind of like from a quick cursory glance, do I see if like they are all equally hostile, or are like,
Though
does it seem like the big one's calling the shots?
it seems like the big one's calling the shots. The other 3 or the other 2 have also raised short crossbows. Only after the largest one did so. and he seems about it.
Okay. Then I'm going to just kind of like very deftly make my way around, so I'm kind of like in on the opposite side of the big one. Kind of
Okay.
like just, and I'm going to take a swipe.
Okay. Big circle around the room. And
Big circle around the room.
okay. And this is
I'm-
for the largest one, yeah.
This is for the largest one, the one who I think is calling the shots.
Okay.
Sorry, let me get my actions up. And I rolled a 18 to hit.
Okay. Yes.
That's good.
Yep.
Okay, so that is 6, and I have an extra rule for sneak attack because of my swashbuckler rogue that if I am within 5 feet of it and there is nobody else within 5 feet of it, I get sneak attack.
Okay.
So is he like isolated from the rest of them?
He stepped forward from the smallest one, and the third one was always off kind of on its own as it was. So it's put a distance between it and its closest one. They're not all bunched
Okay,
up.
so that means sneak attack for me,
Okay.
which is another 6, so 12 damage total.
All right. Yeah. What do you got? Rapiers? With the stabby or the?
It's one rapier.
Okay.
I'm kind of like dueling style, fencing style.
Nice. And you get it in the back. It kind of caws and just lets out like a bestial kind of bird's, distress sound in doing so.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see.
Last bit of clarification. He has a crossbow, right? I don't see any like melee nonsense with him.
No.
Okay, then I'm gonna stick up in his face.
Okay. All right. Minch, next to go.
Okay, how far away am I from the nearest wing monster?
The closest one's going to be about 15 feet for the largest. The smallest one is going to be about 25 feet, 10 feet behind the first one. And then the other one's going to be, with actual, like, the direct movement of D&D because it's kind of off to the side. Probably about 35 feet away.
Alright, as a bonus action, the flamethrower cannon is going to climb along the walls to get within, and the floors to get within, let's see. Actually, it doesn't need to go that far, but it might need to maneuver to get around as to not hit anyone else. It's going to be a 15-foot cone emanating from my tripod flame friend. Can I pull that off without hitting anyone else in the party?
I would say you could get the largest one and the smallest one, who are in like their own little cluster, just
Right.
one in front of the other. I'd say you can get both of those with a wide enough movement to not get Scissero behind them.
Okay, they need to make a dexterity saving throw, and the save is 13.
Okay. The largest one fails, and the smallest one saves.
So it's going to be... Just make sure I get this right. I'm sorry. The lull here.
Big numbers.
No, I just lost sight of how the attack works. 2d8 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much. So it's going to be 13 for the one that failed, and it's going to be 6 points for the one that succeeded, and that's fire damage.
All right.
And then from Minch's vantage point, does he need to ascend up the staircase in order to get line of sight on anyone, or?
There's no staircase. There's just a missing section of the floor as everybody kind of goes through this. This will be the top floor of the tower. The only thing above you is the structure. That's the roof with a hole in it.
Can I get line of sight on the same big boy that I tossed flames at?
You can step through the hole in the wall and kind of take a step to the right. You guys have seen the bird now, so we can put the thing back up. So as you kind of punch through the hole, there's like this kind of broken scaffolding. The part closest to you looks kind of sturdy. And then the rest of it's, like I said, like the big missing floor. So you're kind of up in there. He's going to be basically more or less like right around where C14 is, that little kind of Florida poking north. Is where the bird is. The other one's going to be a little bit behind that, and then the one's going to be the one off to its own is going to basically be about like 8-9 o'clock.
Okay, so I'm able to get line of sight on him.
Big one.
Yep. So Minch is going to raise one of his arms into the air, where he kind of pulls back the sleeve that's covering this contraption. Two arms are going to spring out and create kind of this crossbow shape, and then a glowing bolt is going to appear across his wrist. He's going to hold his wrist and fire back with one of his infused endless ammunition deals here. And it's going to essentially be a crossbow bolt, but it's going to miss and just be a really big showy way to miss a guy.
Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
The electrical bolt just blasts against the wall somewhere inconsequential. Right. Maybe lighting an expensive book on fire.
Alright, it is now the were-raven's turn. The first one is going to turn around and peck at Scissero for, I doubt that's going to get it done. A 12 to hit. No, right?
12 misses.
Okay. And then it is going to take one more peck with its beak, and a 6 is also going to miss.
That one hits weirdly.
My AC fluctuates like the
weird.
It's like GameStop, bro. You should see it.
Oh, man.
I shorted my AC. The second one, the smaller one behind it, is going to basically try to blast a crossbow bolt at Scissero for a... Ooh, this one might actually hit. 16.
That's it, yeah.
That one gets done. D6 plus 2. You're going to take 5 piercing damage. And the third one is going to take a crossbow shot at Minch for a 16 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. And 6 piercing damage for you.
All right.
And that's going to be it for the were-ravens, and it is Art.
All right. I'm going to walk into the room. Sort of like, you know the old Allstate commercials where there was that guy, I think he was Trouble, and all the chaos and shit was going around him. Mayhem, yeah. And he was just like calm and talking to the camera. I want to give off that kind of energy, addressing the largest were-raven, and just be like, "Hey man, listen, these guys, they want to fuck your shit up, and I don't want that to happen. So why don't we just like talk about it? You guys can put your shit down." And I'm casting Friends, which lasts for a minute, and afterwards he's gonna be so mad at me. But I just need that minute to like
Okay.
get our shit situated.
We're not gonna make a save.
So there's actually no save. It says that I have for this minute, so long as I maintain concentration, I have advantage on charisma checks against him.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want me to like make a persuasion roll or something like that.
Yeah, you want to what? You want to try to reason with it, like now that it's it's non-aggressive. That's what Friends basically does.
All it says is I have advantage on charisma checks, so I would imagine that might cancel out disadvantage.
Okay.
From us fighting it.
But
yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna. Yeah, you're just gonna kind of come in and kind of chill. You know, you want to be Samuel L. Jackson and the everybody calm the fuck down. I need everybody's gonna be three little Fonzies. And what's Fonzie?
Yeah.
Cool. Damn right, Yolanda. All right, cool. So you're gonna give off that vibe. Got it. You're gonna kind of come in. You know, Samuel L. Jackson's authoritative. It's still pretty pissed. A couple of you have hit it with stuff. One of you set it on fire. It smells like burnt bird feathers, which, by the way, is an awful smell. And it seems not outwardly aggressive, defensive and desperate.
Okay.
As it kind of stands there with its crossbow, kind of just all over the place.
Can I make a persuasion check?
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you want to say to the Birdman.
Look, man, we don't have to fight each other. We came to help. We're helpers, man. So let's just let all this. We'll put our stuff down, right? And you guys put your stuff down. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It caws at you, and as it does so, you can see a tear come down its eye.
Oh man, bro, come here, bro. And I just open my arms for a hug.
It looks around, and they all kind of look at each other and cover themselves with their wings like birds do. And after a couple of moments, they peel back the feathers and the wings, and it is the three figures of the family that you saw from the room.
Oh shit.
Painting. Excellent.
The largest one, who you equate with the father from downstairs, we must bear this curse. These ravens that inhabit this tower are pathways to the afterlife. In my former life, I mistakenly killed one of them. That was my daughter's passage to the next world. Without it, she is cursed to stay here forever. We inhabit these bodies so that we can all be together. We do not mean to frighten her. We just want to be with our daughter. And this is the way that we can do it.
You all hear Kai in the background. You're like, aha! I told you all those ravens were good guys. You all didn't believe me, and I tried telling you. And what did you all say? You said, no, they're probably bad. So, there you go.
Without her raven, she is bound to this house for eternity, while our release from these bodies sets us in the afterlife. If you kill us, she will have peace in this house, alone, without the torment of these ravens. If you allow us to be, we will haunt her for the rest of her days, but we will be together. Centuries have passed with this curse. We are tired, and we wish to be free.
This sounds bad either way.
And just kind of say like, all right, guys, again, super wasn't paying attention, but I trust that you guys know what to do. What's going on?
We need to take them out.
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah.
Or remove the curse somehow.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me an insight check.
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah.
Just to, because I mean, I don't know if I can insight into this, but like, I want to see if they're telling the whole truth,
okay,
or like are they trying to conceal something?
All right.
Where's my insight? 21.
Something seems fishy about their story. Doug, that's what I get for a 21. Thanks.
21, yeah.
Thanks, man. For something that just was trying to shoot at you, it seems odd to have such a sob protect the little girl story. Yeah. Seems sus, bro. Thanks. Thanks for that 21.
Oh. Listen. There's something else here, and I have met your daughter. She's very sweet. She's my favorite out of you. She's the only one that hasn't shot at me or tried to peck me, and this shit hurts. So
Maybe she's too sweet.
no, let's get this real. Let's get all the cards out on the table, or we're going to walk the fuck out of here and leave you in your torment for the rest of your days. Maybe if we're feeling generous, we'll kill you if I like what you say to me.
Minch, since you got your canon together, have you been back in the book that you snatched from the library?
I haven't. No, I've been focusing on what's in front of me, but if I
started right now,
perhaps maybe I'm feeling one of the bookmarks tickling the back of my neck right now. From my pack extending. Yeah, I pull out the book.
This whole time, bro.
And I take another look at it.
Okay.
And I flip to the next bookmark that we haven't explored yet.
Okay. Alright. Boom, boom. So, Cicero's going to determine that they're not entirely truthful, despite shedding their, form of the two-legged bipedal were-raven. They are still holding their crossbows, and probably in a manner that would make you feel uncertain from a safety point of view, especially for somebody pleading like a sob story case.
So just to clarify, how did y'all get cursed? You killed a raven, and you said without her raven, she's stuck here. What does that mean? Her raven.
Everybody who inhabits this house is blessed with a raven to carry their soul to the afterlife. Some view them as a nuisance or a pest, and while they don't know it at the time, to kill us is to doom a family member to eternity.
Tell me why you are still here. You have your ravens.
We never killed our ravens when we were alive. When our daughter died, with her raven already having been dead, she has the life that you see before you.
No, I didn't ask about her. I asked about you.
After I killed Selphine's raven, I realized that I had to leave these three so that some of us could make it to the afterlife when we so chose.
And you just have not chosen yet.
So that we can be with her.
But my friend,
So
you're not
could
with
go
her.
to the afterlife.
Yeah, who was it that said, who told her not to come in here? Because like she's talking to the illusions downstairs, and it makes her real sad, and there's nobody to play hide and seek with. Also, does the cheese have a raven? Because that was so good, and I don't know how long it lasts normally, but like, I don't know, man. This kind of feels weird to me.
As you kind of rattle off, especially the sad parts of the story about the girl not having somebody to play with and kind of being kept alone, you notice all three of the ravens kind of smirk and, you know, a slight little chuckle. And as they do, they draw a short sword from their human form and turn right back into the ravens. And it will be Maz's turn.
Sorry, bros.
God.
Yeah, alright, that was a really long turn.
Man, 6 seconds, I got a lot done. What?
Like the Flash talking.
Yeah. So yeah, they're back in raven form
so
now.
they want to die.
They all have short swords now, in addition to their crossbows. The largest one, he's not doing so bad. The smallest one, not doing great, but not really hurt. And then the third one off to the side, the one that you would recognize as the sun, is completely undamaged.
Okay. Well, Maz he hasn't come through to that other side yet, into the tower. I mean, he'll just kind of stand up at there, staying on that room, and just kind of take his crossbow out and aim at, I guess, the sun, the one that's over to the 7 o'clock area, and try and shoot with his crossbow. That that's a 3+ whatever, so that's not going to do anything. But as a bonus action, the homunculus servant is going to fly in and swoop around, counterclockwise over that open area, and shoot through its scorpion tail a 4 strike.
Oh yeah.
And that's a 15 plus 15 plus, I think my proficiency, so like 17.
Okay. And this is on the sun?
Yeah.
That absolutely hits.
The
Cool.
homunculus servant, I don't know if you're using the one from Eberron or Tasha's, but it uses your spell attack modifier instead of.
Okay, spell attack. Cool.
Yeah. So like you can literally just click on the, not like it's casting power.
Gotcha. And so then that would be a. Oh no, dice!
I was like, wow, that sounds like a lot of dice.
3 plus 5.
All right.
5 force damage.
It's going to take like a kind of good blow to the chest. A kind of smell of sulfur kind of emits, and the edge of the feathers seems to get like a slight little glow, like barely alive embers.
Okay.
Kai,
That's
you.
So
Maybe kind of ducks back down.
he's gonna find a raven that's sort of out of the way from the other people.
Okay.
He's going to move towards it, and as he does, he says, "During one of my trips up north, I met this big old lizard man that taught me a thing or two about fighting. And spoiler alert, this is going to hurt." And he you see his face transform into like a wolf's, almost like a werewolf. It's primal savagery at its down. And he's going to bite at its face.
I hope he's watching. He's going to be very proud.
Oh yeah, 21 to hit.
Which one is this? The sun?
I guess the second one, not the first one, because that's what they're attacking you on.
That's the big one. Like you said, so it's the father, the wife, and then the son's the one kind of off to the side.
To the sun. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's 7 acid damage.
Ooh. Okay.
And then.
And then.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Peanut to attack. Is Peanut 20 feet away or able to get 20 feet away?
I would say from the sun, Peanut currently is 20 feet away, like just through the hole in the wall.
Awesome. He is going to charge and attack.
Okay.
So, oh, and by the way, I'm sorry about this. I'm also going to use that favored foe. So I get an extra 1d4 for the damage.
Okay, to this one or to all of them because they're the same creature? This is the same type of creature.
Just this specific one.
Okay.
So on top of that damage, it's 2 more acid damage. Sorry about that. And then Peanut will charge, and because he's charging, he gets extra. I'll go and do the attack roll if I can find it. Thing. Oh, he rolled an 8. He missed.
Birds are quite deft and a side movement. The acid splashes, and instead of the kind of smell of burnt feathers, which you would expect, it's a much more like strong kind of, like I said, like a sulfur smell. And the feathers once again kind of glow, this time a little more intensely. And the kind of tone and timbre of the voice that you've been hearing when they've either spoken or cawed at you is replaced by like a deep, like guttural roar as it's like burned by your acid damage. All right, what else? Is that it?
That is it.
No, and then. All right, back to the top with Scissero. The father, as it were, definitely not doing too well. The mother, meh. And the son on fire and emitting a kind of sulfurous odor as he is attacked.
All right. Are you hearing me? I'm seeing people some freezing, but I can just power through. I'm gonna keep at the dad.
Okay.
Take another slice.
All right.
That is a 13 plus 5, I think. Yeah, 18.
To hit, yes.
Yeah. And then, so this is going to be another sneak attack for the same reason as last time. So that is 5 plus 7, another 12 points of damage.
Okay. Describe to me how you finish off the first were-raven.
Yeah, so as he like takes out his short sword and kind of like goes back in a threatening way, kind of like taking advantage of his like momentary distraction, I'm just gonna kind of like hop back and then just like jab in kind of right into his chest and lower him to the ground with my rapier.
As he falls, impaled, a kind of sizzling and like the same way you would watch fire crawl over like paper, just kind of creeps in like a line, and this feathered humanoid shaped creature kind of slowly fades to like ash and is just blown away, leaving nothing in its place. So we now have one raven down. The mother and son still whatever. Scissero, is that it? You got anything else?
I'm just going to, just with my movement, make my way over to the mother.
Okay.
And do you want to tango now?
It's going to give also a very deep laugh, not befitting of anything you have heard of these creatures prior to this.
Hey, Kai, you still think they're the good guys?
No, it's the other raven.
Not these. Don't
Not
make
these ones, not these ones, I
Don't
swear.
make generalizations.
Yeah.
All right, Minch.
Okay. So Minch's flamethrower cannon, is it still within range of one or both of these? And can it move 15 feet to...
If Scissero took up a position behind the mother, yeah, then yes.
Okay, so I can envelop both of them in a 15-foot cone without doing any damage to my my friends here. Excellent. So it's going to be a DC 13 saving throw for both of them.
And both of them are going to fail with 4s. That's almost impressive.
All right. Just double check the attack roll here. That's right. All right, so they're both going to take 4 fire damage.
Okay.
And then Minch is going to put his arm forward as an energy bolt apparates along his wrist, and he lets loose a crossbow bolt aimed at who has more damage right now?
The sun's definitely looking worse.
Okay. Let me actually go for, is it the mother?
Yeah.
Still alive? It's going to be a 17 to hit.
Okay. Yes.
And that is going to be an 11 piercing damage.
Nice. Yeah, you're gonna, stab the shit out of it. It's going to cry out, and the same kind of sulfurous smell and kind of burning embers portion of the feathers
Fuck yeah.
continues. What else you got?
That's going to be it for Minch.
That's it? All right.
Yep.
The were-raven, the mother is going to spin around and take 2 pecks at Scissero. It's gonna be a 15. It looks like
15 hits, yeah.
15. And oh wait, yeah. Okay, so only she's gonna take 2 pecks, a 15 and an 8. So the 15 will hit, and it will be. You're gonna take 5 piercing damage. The sun.
It tickles.
The sun is going to take a crossbow shot at Scissero with a 5.
Yeah, I'm in melee range, so it's a disadvantage.
Okay. Okay, disadvantage the 5. Let's see. Nope, a 5 again. It's gonna, in its kind of injured state and, you know, whatever's going on, it's gonna fire wide. That's it for the Were-Ravens, and now up to Art, motivational speaker, and Winston Wolf of the situation.
Has the mother been injured at this point?
Yeah, they're both not doing well. Both of them not doing equally well.
Okay. Well, I mean, I tried to tell them, you know, I did what I could. So I'm going to walk. Are they, could I get to a point where they are both within 20, or could I choose a point where they're both 20 feet?
Within 20 feet of each
Easiest
other?
way to ask this is, are they within 40 feet of each other?
Yes.
Cool. So I'm going to cast Sleep at 2nd level.
Okay.
39 hit points worth if like starting with whoever has the lowest.
It will get both of them.
Yes. Yeah. So I just like I think I just stroll in between them and kind of sit down and like start playing a lullaby. Yeah.
Yeah. So they just kind of fall asleep. A deep laughter, not from either of the 2 sleeping Were-Ravens. The girl's torment will continue and will only end when I say it ends. And
Where did that come from?
Disembodied voice.
Fuck.
As I don't know what Raven's snoring sounds like. They're probably heads tucked under a wing now, as they just kind of sleep away.
Hey Art, how long they down for?
1 minute.
Okay.
Or I think until somebody attacks them.
Yeah, when they take damage,
they would be what, in theory, awake for their next turn. That's it. It doesn't spark like a reaction.
Yes, you're correct. They would just come back in order.
Okay. All right. So yeah, they are both, like I said, snoozing away, head tucked under a wing, standing there. And Maz, it's you. Kill a sleeping bird, huh? There's like
Do we want to move them,
There's a To Kill a Mockingbird joke here,
guys?
To kill a sleeping bird. I mean, we could tie him up, I guess.
I've heard enough legal arguments for today.
Yeah.
Let's not bring To Kill a Mockingbird into this.
Atticus Finch, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm bringing Atticus Finch into this.
Robert Duvall.
Yeah, tying them up seems to be a good idea. So let's do that. So I get out my rope and I pass it over, and guys start to tie it. And my homunculus servant goes over there and like ties it in a really good knot.
Nice.
Your servant was in the Boy Scouts.
both of
the
them.
Servant Scouts. So yeah, they're, like I said, they're tied up.
Yeah.
They're restrained over on the floor. Sleeping. Like, you guys might as well just throw like
And we take their weapons.
a towel over them. They are completely
Okay.
disarmed.
Oh yeah, but I take their weapons first.
And as they kind of lay there asleep, heavy footprints or footsteps are heard.
Okay. Cool. Now I got a short sword. I'll put that in my little pocket or whatever side.
And you hear a voice. Are they gone?
I'm gonna step up to
One
the
of them
hole.
is.
Okay.
Who are you?
To the little girl. I am Selphine Brantifax. This is my house. This is where I grew up.
No. Who are you?
I don't understand.
I'm gonna draw my sword and hold it under her chin. I said, who are you?
She's gonna like really kind of start to tremor and cry. I just want to be rid of the birds. I just want to be rid of the birds. I need to rest. And she's sobbing like uncontrollably. And just has like a complete breakdown, falls down on the floor, just completely sobbing. I know I don't belong here. I know my family has left me. I am all that's left here, and I just want to be gone. I want to be gone. I want to be with my mommy and daddy.
Can I insight check? Do I believe her?
Yes. Yes, you can insight check her. You can decide whether.
It is a natural 20.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
For a
Finally.
total of 25, I think.
Yeah, she's a sad little girl. She's frustrated.
Little girl.
Yeah, she's frustrated that she just can't be rid of these ravens. And
While
good.
sorry, while he was doing all of that, terrorizing a child, which I mean, we all would have done it.
I won't do it again.
Could I ask the others, like, hey, okay, guys, I feel like I'm like coming clean about a lot tonight. I'm a little bit high. Did anybody else hear a voice say like, oh, I'm really creepy and I'm gonna keep her here, whatever? Did you guys hear that, or am I crazy?
Yeah, no.
That's why I thought it was her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sophie.
No, dude. We all, like I said, you're like, if I were you, I would have done the same thing.
We thought about it. You just did it. So she's like crying hysterically. Like I said, the two remaining were-ravens just kind of asleep.
Okay. I go over to the girl and put my paw on her and kind of pet her, like how I would like to be pet, kind of scratch her a little bit behind the ear, and just say, it's okay, it's all right, we're sorry. These ravens, your parents, they said something about the ravens carrying away your soul. What do you know about this? Where is your soul?
She's like, they're not my parents. My parents are up in the room, not in the tower. I don't know what's in the tower. Ever since the plague, I've been stuck in this house, and my parents are gone. I want to be back with my parents.
Yeah, it seems like you've been dead for like 100 years.
I know it.
So we need to figure this out.
We gotta stop talking to you like you're a little girl. You're old as shit, and like,
yeah.
Come on, dude.
Nobody would.
Your cooking is great. Your cheese preparation is apparently really great, awesome. But if we want to help you, so we need to know about really what's going on here. I gotta look at the guys. I'm just like, I don't know.
What room were you talking about that they're in? Was she talking about like the room where we saw the illusions?
Yeah, they were. Yes, that room.
Okay.
We saw their illusions.
That room, yes. We speak of the same room. She just finally, after kind of just being unbelievably frustrated, 100-year-old soul, probably more, trapped in this 10-year-old body, she just looks up and she points at them. Kill them. Kill them and I can be free. And she says it with just an utter contempt and wide-eyed and like a burning hatred that cannot be like achieved by the body and form of a 10-year-old girl.
Okay, so I go back across and I take out the short sword.
Well,
and
you heard the lady.
I go to put it into the. I'm about to go strike it. I was like, "Are you sure? You sure? Are we sure?"
No, stop. Do something about that.
Unless you guys stop me. I'm gonna try to. Okay.
Yeah,
like double. Brother's already dead. The brother's already dead.
No, the
dead.
father's dead. The brother and the mother are still going.
I want to go to the brother, like hold the sword up to the neck and look at Sylphine, and like try to gauge a reaction.
She just, like you're about to give a kid a present that they know they want. She just, like she's been waiting for something for 100 years.
But is it like I have been waiting? I haven't been able to sleep for 100 years, and here's my chance. Like here's relief is on the other side of this, or is it like, fuck yeah, the new Pokemon came out and I'm about to get it? God damn, dude.
Well, also they said that if they die, she'll be free. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop anybody from killing.
I'm gonna look at
All
Maz
right.
and just like shrug and be
Wait,
like,
wait.
on 3?
and I
May I suggest
roll a
that
melee attack.
Peanut's pretty hungry, so he likes bird. That's the only thing he likes more than cat. He kind of looks over at Maz. But I think the birds would go well with his diet.
I think these ones are going to be a little bit ashy for his taste.
Yeah, they don't really seem very real.
Remembering the taste from the bite that he did earlier. I'll be like, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess they're not real
Stab.
birds.
Yeah, I think Maz and I are going to go for it.
All right.
Yeah, I stab into it.
Okay.
Slice the throat.
Both of them, at the point of either like the stab or the slice, are going to kind of start that slow burn and turn to ash. A huge smell of sulfur is going to kind of waft through the room. As it does, what little moonlight was shining through the ceiling, the hole in the ceiling, just disappears. The night falls totally black. Selphine kind of stands there, slack-jawed, wide-eyed. Her wish for however many years come true. And as she does, she kind of is bathed in this glowing white light and fades from view. As she does, the lack of moonlight and the attic not being very well illuminated becomes very dark. The fluttering of raven feathers grows and crescendos. Everybody's overwhelmed with feathers again in the face. And within a brief couple moments, just as you realize you've been disoriented, everything kind of clears up and you find yourself back at the table in the courtyard of Candlekeep. A brightly colored dressed wizard sitting at an adjoining table right as you appear. Takes a couple of notes.
Guys, I just had the wildest trip. You're never gonna believe this. Holy shit.
He
Take out your dream journal.
I'll look up at the wizard and be like, "Who are you?"
He pulls out a large sack of money and hands it to Scissero. This pot
I killed it.
This pot has grown for days, and I insisted that you would be back. My divinations proved true. Here is a large sum of money I was sure I would see and be able to deliver to you. And I knew it would take 14 years to do it.
Now hold on.
There's the
Sorry.
man who wouldn't predict our fate before we set out on our journey.
He got better in 14 years, all right? What man's been practicing?
We were gone in 14 years, or like you've been trying to do this whole shit for 14 years? Also, what day is it?
You have been gone for 14 years.
Oh, fuck,
What?
dude.
The Shadowfell plays tricks with time.
I'm not gonna have to pay late fines on these books, am I?
Wait, but we're not 14 years older. We're just like a couple of hours older. Everyone else is 14 years older, right?
Candlekeep seems more or less the same. A couple of few changes. He comes back. I hope this sum of money is enough. If not, maybe some notoriety would be. And he's going to pull out these individual little objects about like yay big, wrapped in like a kind of suede cloth and tied nicely with a ribbon. He's going to hand out 5 of them, one to everybody from the party. This has become quite popular since you left. I'm hoping now that you're back, we can discuss what is in the contents of this book.
Talking about the Raven book.
The ones he handed everybody, and like I said, they're in like a little
okay.
kind of leather, like cloth wrapped up. The way that a nerd would wrap a book in leather.
Just gonna flip it open, see what it
That's what we all
does.
have. Okay.
They are all copies of the identical book. The cover looks very similar to the label for the wine on the bottles.
I pull that out of my bag. Oh yeah.
Man, this wine's even older now.
And pop it open. Take a swig. Here you guys go.
The
it's
cover.
vinegar. God damn it.
The cover says a book by Selphine. On the inside jacket, it has all of your names, a thank you, and the title of the book is Those Who Freed Me from Archdemons by Selphine Brantifax.
Dang.
And,
Except for that one guy who almost killed me.
and that concludes the Book of the Raven.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Whoa.
Hell yeah.
That was
awesome.
yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
I had all of my gold in Betamax. I'm like a billionaire
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah. Compound interest over 14 years. Yes, Mr. Fry, you are rich.
What happened
yeah.
to the original book? Did it ever fill up with any words? If I had a chance to look at it.
It was mostly just like a narrative device to get you the letter. Just themed with
Right.
the
I
kind
see.
of
Okay.
perpetual raven thought.
Okay.
And I think the cover, the wooden planks were supposed to be from the kind of
Scratch.
and collapsed floor, just over time. And
Wow,
so
cool.
they turned out to be like archdemons who were just tormenting the little girl for shits and giggles.
As they do.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Course, dude.
yeah, you guys, that was awesome. I love doing
Dude,
these.
hell
These
yeah.
things are a
That was
lot
That
of fun.
that was great.
You guys,
Yeah.
you guys were great. The two new guys, like fabulous work to just kind of mix your way in. Landon, try harder. Don't talk so much to birds. Tim, way to blow shit up.
Well, the last time you
Yeah.
told me not to be so creepy and weird.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
This
so this
time
is
you're
my
telling me
fault.
to talk to birds. I mean, come on.
All right.
He's taking your notes, Manny. I don't know.
I know.
What else
Like
he's
I
supposed to
get what I deserve, I suppose. All right. So yeah, to everybody, let's kind of go around the room. We will meet everybody. And actually, the people behind these great characters. These guys were all great tonight. Their characters were great, but they come from the minds of these 5 great people. And let's meet them right now. Let's start with our chill kind of hippie California bro bard. Tell us about the man behind him.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm Porter. Like I said before, I fucking love everybody, and that includes you. And I love D&D, and so I run D&D for all kinds of people. I love bringing people into this. I'm like forever grateful to Manny for like putting this all together, building this community, and like inviting us all to be a part of it. So thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
And yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Let's go down to my regular Tuesday guy. So what? So far, it's been what? It's Oren, the artificer,
Warren,
the creepy,
Morlock.
the creepy necromancer, and now this. Yeah, just 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This one, the most. Well, the necromancer was the only oddball. This one and Oren seemed to be really kind of simpatico. So.
Yeah, I usually like to play sort of like comedic character. Like I like them to have some comedic value.
Except for the
I'm not-
necromancer.
Well, the necromancer was funny in its own weird, creepy way. You know, like having the little cockroach pets and stuff.
The necromancer that took control of the troll.
Or the
The
giant.
troll
Yeah.
and the
giant,
worm
yeah.
too. Yeah. So
Oh,
that was
man.
Hey, level 15
Yeah,
one
no,
shot.
you were just effing around with that guy. It was no big deal.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But
But
yeah,
so I like comedic characters. I'm just not very good at being like all serious the whole time. But I'm Landon Baker. I love this group. It's definitely been my favorite D&D session since I've joined this group, this channel. During the day, you know, I'm a software developer and I'm married, and I do have 2 Saint Bernards. So when I had the chance to play Beastmaster Ranger, I was like, I'm gonna have a Saint Bernard
Hell yeah.
in the
Is
game.
one of them named Peanut?
No, I have Beowulf, which, contrary to his name, he's the most timid dog. He literally is
bye.
scared of everything.
I have never seen Grendel around or around Landon's house, so maybe he's not that gentle.
Well, he's like a 170-pound baby, like literally scared of everything. Then I have Snow, who is a girl. She's brave. She's super friendly, you know. So she's 100 times braver than Beowulf. It's kind of funny. I went on a tangent there, but I'll let other people talk. But that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Thanks, buddy. I always love when you come by. We have a lot of fun. Let us go down to kind of one of our Wednesday regulars, I'd say. Tim, tell us about Tim.
Sure. Again, thanks for having me on this session tonight.
Awesome.
I hope I kept kept Minch interesting, and I think this is the 3rd one-shot I've done with you, Manny.
Mhm.
They've all been really great. I play D&D on my own Discord server. I don't do any Twitch broadcasts just yet, but I'm running Dragon Heist game right now and Sunless Citadel, so that's been a lot of fun. Shout out to the guys in those games, and yeah, just really loving D&D these days, and all of the online engagement has definitely up to my game as a DM. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Now, let's meet our newcomers who absolutely did their best to blend in and did so beautifully. Congratulations. Thanks for coming with us, most importantly. We like to have new people around. It's kind of the point of this thing. I'm glad you guys got to come by. Let's start with Andrew.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This has been an awesome time. This is like Manny said, this is the first time that I've been playing with this group. And one of the first times in a while that I've actually got to play D&D, so this has been great. Outside of D&D, I'm a high school teacher and a musician. I played saxophone. I've got one in the back over there. And that's me.
Awesome.
Ottawa guy.
Hey, sorry. Sorry.
I'm up here in Canada.
Hey, excuse me. Hey, I got a boss from Wisconsin, so it's just It's international Wisconsin. I get it. Everybody's super polite and has a weird accent. All right, and let's go to the person who I saw his traffic situation at some point just pre-show. Maz, thanks for joining us and kind of hustling to make it. We dragged it out a little bit so we could get you an intro and not have you just show up in the haunted house. Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out
Thank
today,
you guys.
Man. You were great.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get out of here.
Like I just saw all these birds flap around me, and now suddenly I'm here. Yeah. No, thanks a lot, guys. I'm a teacher in Houston. Just like never came, and so it took me forever to get here. But I've been playing D&D for a couple of years, and just recently started trying to play it online, and it's been really great. And I've just really liked the idea of these one-shots, and so this was a lot of fun, and I really appreciate you letting me tag along with you guys and find out this different aspect up to it, and I just loved it, and this was so much fun.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Thanks. As always, Manny at GrowedUpGeek. This is kind of our little thing here. Tuesday nights we run our long-term persistent campaign, Rime of the Frostmaiden. A little more narrative, long character development, all the things you think of a long, persistent campaign. And then we do this show, which is just a lot of people, you get that thing, oh, I got so many character concepts, I'll never get a chance to play them. We do a different show here every week. You'll have plenty of chances to play. Thank you so much to everybody who comes out to play with us. You guys tonight, this means the world to me. Dungeon mastering is one of the things I enjoy to do the most, and it is made that much more fun by people who enjoy the playing part of it. And your guys' dynamic was fabulous tonight, and it was great. And it shows you care, and I'm blessed to have a group that cares so much and enjoyed tonight. So with that, we'll get out of here. Check us out Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for our persistent campaign, Twilight Malediction, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Next Wednesday night here for One Shot Wednesday, it is a level 12 ancient Greek themed underworld adventure. And then this Sunday we are off, but Sundays at 1 o'clock on the Wily Hobbit Twitch channel, I Dungeon Master Greyhawk Lives, a 5e homebrew Greyhawk campaign. So check us out all those times. You can like and follow any of us on social media. And thanks for coming out, everybody, tonight. Thank you to my amazing players. And we'll see everybody hopefully next week. Thank you for showing up. Good night.
Thanks.
Ooh.